welcome, everybody, to another edition of the C3 Friday Free for All. I'm your host, Cody Lashing, coming at you again with another show for Panthers fans by Panthers fans. That's right. If you would like to join the action today, you can join via Streamyard. The link is in the chat box below YouTube and the Facebook. It is also in the description below the YouTube and Facebook. But man, listen, y'all already know that we're here to talk about your favorite bad news Bears, or should I say bad news Panthers, the Carolina Panthers. And we're going to see if maybe they can ever get out of their own way because it seems like nothing but bad news follows this team. As always, I'm going to do it with the homies. I'm joined by one of the four horsemen of the Tuesday C3 apocalypse, my man, the best beard in Panther podcasting. It's my man, the Bat Daddy. Greg, what's up, dude?
What's up, man? You know my biggest problem with the beard is I can't fit it under any helmet. So it always makes it tough. I'm very identifiable if I put a helmet on. But yeah, dude, I had some free time tonight. I'm here to talk Panthers football. I'm wearing the War Machine helmet because I'm ready for battle. And I'm sure there's going to be some people here tonight that have some things they want to say to me about some facts that I've been saying, and I can't wait to hear what's happening. So let's talk.
Yeah, sounds like the making of a free-for-all, baby. And listen, you know that a free-for-all would not be a free-for-all without the presence of he who will tell you to shut the hell up. It's Panther Pickle back in the building. Pickle, what's up, brother?
Yo, man. Cody, yo, boys, I listened to a guy talk yesterday. And I'm driving home. And I get in my driveway, and the first thing I think is, dude, you need to shut the hell up. And I'll just say this. Thomas Brown, you're a worthless piece of fucking shit.
Oh,
you need to
damn.
shut the hell up.
Oh,
Fact is, you need to shut the hell up. Your wife needs to shut. Even your mama needs to shut the hell up.
Oh, my God. Oh, Pickles turned it up to 10 already. Man, I don't know if I was prepared. I need to brace myself, man. This might be a lit free-for-all. Next up, you know him as the brand ambassador. In my opinion, he's like the greatest follow on Twitter right now, man. Posting this incredible artwork, jumping into spaces, bringing that hot fire. It's my man, Diesel Scales. Don, what's up, brother?
What is up, my brother Cody and all my brethren from the C3 Panthers Podcast? We are locked and loaded on another Friday night for the Friday Free-for-All. Let's go. We're going to party this thing up way into the evening with Cody Lashing, guys. This is the longest running Panthers podcast, the C3 Panthers Podcast. You're on it now. You're listening. You're a part of C3. If you want to be a super fan, sign up down there at the bottom. It's $1.99 per month. Show your loyalty to the longest running Panthers podcast, the C3 Panthers Podcast. Let's go, Cody.
Let's go. Hey, y'all see why we call that man the brand ambassador, don't you? That's what he's good at, man. He represents the brand. Let's go. Next up, let me go to my homie, Jake the Snake FU. Jake, what's up, brother? Happy to have you back, man.
Happy to be here, man. Just chilling like a villain. Ready to hear all the takes that we're going to have tonight. It's going to be cool. Ready for that fire.
Yes, sir. Chilling like a villain, never illin'. Oh, shit. We out here killing. Next up, it is the master of analytics and football data. It's my boy Strats in the building. Strats, what up, dude?
What up, guys? Y'all doing good?
Yeah, man. Happy to have you again, man.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Two more intros. Next up, we got the homie Cole in the building. My man Cole, how you doing, man?
Cody, what's up, brother? Glad to be here on another Friday night with y'all. Just want to say very, very quickly that no matter the record, no matter how incompetent our front office is, nothing can take away for the thankfulness I have to be a part of this C3 Nation and the love I have for my Panthers. Let's get into it, baby.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, look, we already have somebody calling us out in the chat.
I got him.
Hey, that's all good. That's what the free
TJ, bring your ass in here if you want to
come
talk.
on in, man. It's open. It's free for all, baby.
Yeah,
don't be Lord Warrior. Don't talk that shit. All right, we're here. Come talk shit.
Hey, look, this is what we do. We provide a platform. We provide a platform for everyone to speak their mind. That is the conditions of the Friday free-for-all, man. So if you're not willing for that back and forth, that honest, open discussion, hey, man, this might not be the place for you, man. We're going to have a great one today. But first off, I want to jump into basically all this recent news that came out in The Athletic.
Cody, thanks for the introduction, buddy.
Oh,
damn!
How you gonna leave out the local, Cody? For God's sake,
that's cold-blooded.
No, you know what? You know what? I blame you, Anthony, that you always change your avatar so damn much that
That's
I don't
true.
even.
Yeah,
see you
bring
on my
Miranda back.
screen no
That's
more,
true.
bro. Yeah, let's put Miranda on that thing or something, bro.
Yeah,
but no, you're
was
right.
Busting your
No,
balls,
hey,
man.
my bad, bro. Look, this dude is like my C3 younger brother. I've even known him been known to call him my protege. It's the man Anthony Pick. Anthony, what's up, dude?
What's up, boys? Glad you're feeling better, Cody. Happy to
Appreciate
be here,
it,
man. I just got done with finals, so it's the month of golf, it's the month of football, and to spend time with friends and family. So I'm happy to be here, man. And even if the Panthers are gonna ruin, like Tony said one year, you guys stole my Christmas, my podcast, assholes. If the Panthers are gonna do that to us again, we're gonna all be brothers in arms while they do it. So I'm happy to be here and good to see you, Greg. It's been a minute, man.
It's been a minute, man. It's good seeing you too, brother.
Yes, sir. So look, let's jump into this news from the Athletic. I believe is who originally put this out. It was a team dynamic between Joe Person and Diana Rossini. The Athletic spoke to more than 20 Panthers coaches, players, and other league sources, some of whom were granted anonymity so that they could speak freely. They painted a picture of dysfunction inside the Panthers' offices, with assistant coaches undermining other coaches, as many went into self-preservation mode when it became clear that Frank Reich's days were numbered. Team sources described the Hunger Games culture at Bank of America Stadium. Coaches says they believed other staff members were text messaging David Tepper and Frank Reich behind their back about issues that they saw with the team. In one instance, general manager Scott Fitterer and an offensive coach went to Tepper with a coaching suggestion for the quarterback. It would basically go on to detail that many people in the building have a problem with Bryce Young's drop. They think he's not getting far back enough in his drop. There's also a contingency of coaches that even wanted to bench Bryce Young in favor of Andy Dalton at week 5. So my question to you all is, if you believe any of this at all, which coaches do you believe wanted to bench Bryce? And also, why do you believe that they are or are not with this organization? So there's no more Deuce Staley. There's no more Josh McCown. Obviously, there's no more Frank Reich. What do you believe when it comes to basically this quarterback in the conversation? Who was leading the charge to start Andy Dalton?
Frank Reich. I think it was him.
Yeah,
and I think
he probably led it. Yeah.
I think it's because, remember, after the Saints game, we were like, Bryce has an ankle injury. Really? It didn't seem like he finished the whole game. I think that was kind of a propaganda that Reich wanted him to sit for a couple weeks. And don't get me wrong, I think Reich was actually right about that. Bryce has been getting killed all season and he hasn't been playing good. So in my personal opinion, I think it was Reich. Just because maybe it was like a positional coach, but they don't have enough like power to make that decision for the organization. So even if like Josh McCown went to, David Tepper, I don't think David Tepper would have taken his opinion seriously, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
he didn't take him seriously.
The only thing I'll say about that is if you're the head coach and you are the one who wants to start Andy Dalton, then what's stopping you from doing so? You're the head coach. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it just seems to me like, I don't know, there was probably other people in that building that were wanting it. And if Frank Reich didn't want to do it, maybe he was afraid of what the repercussions would have been from David Tepper, who is clearly Bryce Young's biggest fan and supporter. I mean, he's the one that essentially, I believe, led the charge into us moving up to number 1 to get him. So is that kind of environment? I mean, the article said it was a Hunger Games type of environment inside that Panthers building. Dude, that just can't be conducive to building a good football team.
No cohesion, man. It's what I've been saying for weeks. It's why I told Greg that, if you were going to fire Reich, that Fitterer has to go too, because it just doesn't seem like there's many people that are on the same page about some stuff. And I think that's the biggest problem with the organization. Like it or not, Bryce Young's going to be here. So I think David Tepper was like, hey, if there's people in this organization that don't believe in him, I'd rather get rid of him now. But in the same sense, if they never believed in him, then why were they hired to the jobs?
They were hired to the job before we traded for the first round pick, weren't they?
Yes, yes,
exactly.
And
so that's why they were hired for the job, because it came before the pick even came into play.
Well, and how about
them being hired?
And Greg, that's pretty stupid, honestly.
Well, no. Don't get me wrong. I agree. That is stupid. I agree with you. But that does have something to do with it. It's obvious Frank Reich did not want Bryce Young. Like, it's very obvious. And everybody who got fired, I guarantee you, was in the camp of benching Bryce Young or not drafting Bryce
Agreed,
Young.
sir.
Everybody who got fired. That was the camp they were in. And
it
they
goes
got
to the
fired
point
because
of
David Tepper was getting rid of the cancer that he sees in his room. And, man, he's just – David Tepper's a fucking moron.
In that Athletic article, when Tepper hired Reich, he deliberately asked him to hire outside of his staff.
In here too?
And
hold on, Anthony. Let's get off his point.
Okay, my bad, Strats. Go ahead, man.
I basically finished. I was saying it stems from when Tepper kind of asked Reich to fill out his staff from people that were not in his circle. So that was a bad point from the start.
Right, that's a great point too. So he's literally being told, hey, in this coaching search, I want you to go dip in from everywhere. And normally when you hire a head coach, like especially if you're hiring an older guy that's been on a lot of squads, he has connections. He probably has guys that maybe he would have favored to bring in rather than someone that he was pushed to hire. And it sounds like you kind of have a scenario of too many cooks in the kitchen. So to quote from the Athletic article directly, at one point, several coaches wanted to bench Young in favor of Dalton, who had the Panthers' only 300-yard passing game when Young missed the Week 3 game at Seattle with an ankle injury. But those conversations, this is the part that is fucking wild to me to the point of unbelievability. He said, but those conversations never reached Reich, Fitterer, or ownership, according to high-ranking team sources. Now, you're going to tell me there were several coaches, and not one of them had the balls to even suggest, hey, maybe let's put in the 10-year veteran for a little while over the rookie who is struggling mightily, I might add.
Well,
that just doesn't make no damn sense.
Well, when you got an owner that fires coaches more often than he changes his fucking underwear, I can kind of understand that. Like, for the sake of saving your job, sometimes you just shut the fuck up. That check clears every month.
Yeah.
Like, just shut the fuck up and take your check every month, because this guy's going to fire you the second he doesn't like something you say. We've seen that in the past. How many head coaches, soccer and football, has he been through already?
The soccer
was
ridiculous.
The guy's ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
so
I was just going to add this aspect into it. When talking about how Frank Reich didn't want Bryce Young, I'm a believer that, he probably wanted C.J. Stroud because he was his prototypical quarterback, but I'm a believer that he didn't want to trade up regardless. I thought the whole reason we were meeting with Derek Carr in the before the draft process was because of Frank Reich, and the ownership said, no, we're not doing that. We don't. So from the start, Frank Reich didn't even have a say in who was going to be his quarterback. So regardless, I agree with Greg. David Tepper, it's like, if you don't do what he wants, he's going to get you out of there. So it makes sense why he didn't speak up about the Bryce Young thing, because that's all David Tepper cares about at this point, is protecting Bryce Young.
And that's bad. That's bad leadership from the top down. When you can't confront your leaders, that's bad leadership.
Do y'all remember what Colts fans said when we hired Reich?
And you know what
Remember
we did,
all-
Yeah, he
Pickle?
was
No,
big
no,
time
no,
in
that's
that.
not true. He's gonna change. He's gonna be different this time. Pickle.
We did what
They
Nebraska
said
fans were
all
doing.
over the chat when we signed him. They said he won't stick up for the players. He won't stick up for the coaches. He'll always knuckle into ownership, and he will throw anybody under the bus to get rid of the issues.
Okay.
Because he won't stand up to anybody. Now, if you associate all that with what's going on now, here's the way I see it. I see it that privately he didn't want Young, but everybody knows that Scott Fitterer and David Tepper wanted Young. That's not a doubt. Yet, so instead of balls in, and when asked, I'm assuming they asked and said, "Who do you want?" He goes, "Oh, I guess it's Young. I guess
Yeah, that's what that's what I'm saying too, Pickle.
And he just goes with the flow. And to answer some of the stuff here, you know what? I think James Campton has a lot of issues. Because James Campton's not a guy that's going to knuckle under. I think James Campton went to Fitterer and then went to Tepper. I think James Campton was the one that wanted him benched. Why? Because, to be bluntly honest, that offensive line looked good last year. You know what? James Campton considers that right now, Thomas Brown and these Frank Wright all fucked over his offensive lineman. Ickey's a bust. Brady Christensen injury prone. Chandler Savala sucks.
Corbett's injury prone.
Bozeman's a boob. And let's be real.
I like boob.
I like boob.
Bradley Boobman.
Don't call him a boob. I like boob.
Bradley
Booth for life.
But Hampton's his guys are getting attacked, and he himself on this very podcast by members currently in the chat now have said James Campton should be fired because he's not a qualified offensive coordinator. Now, you take a guy, Campton's age, been around the circle a whole bunch. Why the hell is he going to keep his mouth shut?
Yeah, that's why a lot of it doesn't make sense to me, Pickle. Let me add some more people into the convo. We got JJ in the building. JJ, what's up, dude?
Y'all hear me good?
Sound
man,
clean,
loud
brother.
and clear, man. Loud and
Yes,
clear.
sir. All right. I ain't really got shit to say, but I'm glad Greg's here to join us on this free for all. You know, anybody else who want to get up here, get up here.
Yes, sir.
Do your one and only shit.
And look, we got someone in here. When we tried to get him in here earlier, Dominique, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Yeah, my shit, it was tripping, man. Sorry about that.
What up, Dom?
So, all good, man. Hey, are you TJ from the chat?
No.
Okay, all right. I was just making sure. We were
Fresh face regardless.
Yeah. Hey, we welcome all fresh faces, man. Dominique, what do you make about this recent news coming out in the Athletic? I keep on forgetting Athletic. What do you make of this recent news about the turmoil and the coaches wanting to bench Bryce and them not having the balls to be able to go to Frank Wright, Fitterer, or David Tepper and actually speak that to them?
My thing is, man, it's just, and sorry if my voice sounds terrible. I'm dealing with the flu right now, so sorry if my voice.
Oh, that's all right, man.
Oh,
sorry you're feeling bad, bro.
But man, it's just so dysfunctional, man. It's just like if they agreed on that, why? I'm like, y'all, why didn't they go to the coaching staff and tell them, like, look, we need to sit our number one pick down. We don't need to, tear down our Lamborghini, and then you know what I'm saying, like,
well, tear down the car. I don't know about Lamborghini, but yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. He's a number one pick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he came in as a Lamborghini. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
it's just like if that's what you guys thought, you should have just got the job done. But Tepper, my thing is like, how do you get an experienced coach, no control of what he wants, but Matt Rule gets complete control of everything?
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Like,
Great
that makes
question.
zero-
Great
it makes
question.
zero
But that's
sense.
why. Oh, go ahead. Finish your point. Then I gotta add on to this. Go ahead, Dominic.
I just don't get it. It makes zero sense. You get Matt
Agreed.
Rule complete roster control, hasn't done anything in the NFL, but then you got Frank Wright, a proven head coach, regardless if he's done good or bad, he still has experience in the NFL, and you don't let him choose of what he wants to do with his roster. Like if he wants to put Andy in, let him put Andy in. You know what I'm saying?
That, he's your first offensive-minded coach you've been going out for, and you didn't even let him pick your quarterback who he wanted.
Exactly.
Like his own personnel.
And that goes back to, this is what I want to add. Everything we're talking right now stems from the fact that David Tepper has PTSD from the whole Matt Rule situation.
Yes, sir.
Since he gave him full power to let Matt Rule do whatever he wanted and it didn't work, he went the complete opposite way instead of finding a middle ground and saying, hey, no matter what Frank Reich wants to do or the offensive staff, I'm gonna veto everything they do, and that's the problem. And this is ultimately why I'm sorry. I have no faith, even if we get a great head coach in here, is David Tepper gonna let that head coach do what he wants to do? To Pickles' point, Pickles talk about the offensive line. If James Campton was the offensive coach, we would be running a heavy run scheme because that's clearly what worked last year. There's too much trying to fit square pegs in round holes, and it's ultimately, I'm sorry, nothing is going to change until David Tepper realizes he has to step away. And I understand it. Matt Rule was a bad coach, but if you hire a solid coach and let him do what he knows, then maybe you'll get some productive wins, and then maybe you can stay out of it. So that's
David
my whole take from this article.
David Tepper has just too big of an ego and too much pride to really let the Panthers be great, if we're being honest.
I don't think he's going to make the same mistake twice.
In the way.
Do you know why that's true? What you just said is the most true thing I've heard about the Carolina Panthers since David Tepper's taken over in so long. Did y'all see at the end of this game last week, did y'all watch the press box when after Bryce Young threw that pick, what David Tepper's wife did and the way David Tepper reacted to his wife?
Yeah, she just got up and walked.
He's not in control of that relationship by any means. He's not in control, and that means he's not in control of his franchise or anything else. She is the brains. I am convinced. Man. I am convinced she is the brains. She is the one who is handling.
This is why we're close to the Bears. Yeah. Because the Bears have a woman on. I mean, what? No, I'm joking.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying because she's a woman, she's incompetent. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is David Tepper doesn't have control. She does.
I don't think they're going to make. I don't think they'll make the same mistake twice. Sorry, Cody. Go ahead.
No. I mean,
I honestly think
those things like I don't know who's in control of a married couple's relationship. Like I can speculate. I'll say this. I'll say this, man. That I think that when it came to selecting the quarterback, I do believe that Nicole had a very loud say so. But I'm also a firm believer that it was a domino effect. So Dominique, you mentioned how dumb it was. That we're doing this shit where we let a coach with no experience in the NFL. Yeah, we let him have his pick of whatever quarterback he wanted, and he chose Teddy Bridgewater. Well, if you remember the reports back at that time that Marty Hurney and David Tepper, they liked Justin Herbert. In fact, they had even explored a trade to go up and get Justin Herbert and move in front of the Dolphins and the Chargers. But David Tepper said, nope, I'm going to let the coach pick. I'm going to let him get his guy. And then that didn't work. Apparently the next year, all the inside info at the time said that David Tepper really liked Justin Fields. But they didn't get Justin Fields. They thought that Sam Darnold was going to be the guy to take them into the future. So now when you fast forward through all the different quarterbacks that we've been through, bringing back Cam, Baker Mayfield, now he sees the opportunity to get the consensus number one overall quarterback. And he said, you know what? I'm not going to be told no again. And then he forces this trade to number one, even though, and again, everything I'm about to say is speculation. But it's of my belief. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not hard to put the pieces together. At a certain point in time, this organization wanted to draft CJ Stroud, and they were willing to move up to number two to do it. which is also more of a hint of why Frank Reich wasn't running more of an RPO style offense. Like, it was clear that Frank Reich's offense was built for a bigger, taller quarterback. But the original plan was to move up to number 2 and draft C.J. Stroud because they knew that the Houston Texans wanted to draft Bryce Young. Well, that's when David.
So
no, but that is confirmed. That there's like a bunch of rumors and not even just rumors. They were, but this is my only point, Rick. They were going to move up to draft Bryce. And by the way, Houston beat reporters have said that too. That Houston won't admit it now, but they were in love with Bryce Young, and that would have been who they traded up for.
Yeah, they were in love to make it seem like he was the best one, and then when they got the guy who they really wanted, the coach GM was pissed about all them rumors talking down on CJ because they think it was the Texans who really wanted CJ after all.
Let me get one thing clear out there that I think right now. I think that David Tepper, first of all, making a move up to get a quarterback was wrong. Okay. But if you're going to do it, you don't move up to number 2 because the price between number 2 and number 1 was going to be very minuscule, if not anything. You would have probably paid the same price for number 2.
But that's
move
DJ
to number
Moore.
1 and pick the right guy. Here's the thing. It's not a matter of moving to number 2.
No, I agree. I said the same thing when we were first.
So him moving to 1 was not a bad idea if he's going to move.
But you got to pick the right guy.
But you don't move to 2.
Regardless of where you trade up to, you just got to pick the right guy when the option's there. Mm-hmm. And we just didn't, and that's why it looks so bad. Because I'm with Tony. I think trading up was a good idea still.
I think if we trade up for CJ,
hold on. Let me just say this: my problem was not trading up. I didn't want to trade up because I didn't want to give up the plethora of first-round picks that we were going to have to. But here's the differentiator: you had a chance to fleece the Houston Texans because you could have moved up to number 2. And listen, the Panthers and the Bears, they already had a trade worked out of what they were going to do when they moved to number 2. They were just waiting for the Houston Texans to give up enough. Well, the Panthers got tired of waiting, and that's when, in my opinion, David Tepper budgeted in. But if you were able to move to 2, you wouldn't have had to give up DJ Moore. And yeah, even if this team wouldn't have been a playoff team with CJ Stroud and DJ Moore, you can't tell me that this offense wouldn't look better when you add a number 1 wide receiver like DJ.
You're right, Cody. I think where you're confused, we're not confused, but I think where we disagree is you're right. We could have traded number 2 and possibly got that, but just because Houston said they wanted Bryce Young does not mean that if we traded 2, they were going to take Bryce Young. They still may have taken CJ Stroud. The smart move, if you're going to move up and you have the power, is to move to 1. That was a smart move if you're going to do that. I don't think it was a smart move to do.
Deal,
but if you're going to do that. You don't leave it. You don't move that much and leave a chance to not get what you want. They just pick the wrong person.
Imagine for a minute though that you're going to go to number 2, and you're basically giving away the same draft package that we gave up, the draft picks, the number 1 pick, the second round pick in 2025. You're giving up all of that.
Either way, it would have been great.
You're keeping your players. So now,
that's not giving up the same draft package. That's changing the equation.
But either way is an attempt to get your franchise quarterback.
Right, but hold on. But Greg, that's what I'm saying. If you move up to number 2, then you're guaranteed, if you have Bryce or CJ, you're guaranteed to have DJ Moore and Brian Burns. They wanted Brian Burns, and we said, nah, we'll give up DJ Moore instead, and we'll keep Brian Burns. If you move up to number 2, it doesn't matter who you drafted. DJ Moore is still on the team.
Look, I get what you're saying, and I totally understand that because I feel like if we had DJ Moore on this team instead of Brian Burns this year, maybe Bryce would have been a little different. But all I'm saying is if you're going to move up, use that much capital, move up, you don't move to a spot where somebody can trump you. Period.
Yeah.
You move to the spot where you have the pick. You've just got to make the right pick, which they didn't.
Can I just say this real quick? I understand everyone's points. And I've come to the conclusion that the right thing to do was to not trade up. I said this in the spaces 2 days ago. I think, yes, if that's what Tepper was going to do no matter what, I think you probably should have kept Steve Wilks, because then you would have had an established run game with an already offensive identity, and it would be the same offense with an upgrade from Sam Darnold to CJ Stroud. We didn't do that. It turns out that this roster has way too many holes to fill now. And if you look at it now, even if we did get CJ Stroud and we'd be looking like, yes, he's the franchise quarterback, it's still going to take a shit long to build this roster up.
Well,
still a lot of losses.
Not as much, because when you have a franchise quarterback in nowadays NFL, they tend to elevate and make up for a lot.
Yeah,
they're able to just create offense out of nowhere.
Yes, but they can't do everything.
You're
as
right,
we just
JJ, but that shit won't work
Texans
here,
aren't
and
a
you know
perfect
that.
roster right now. They still have a lot of weaknesses, but they're a playoff team right now.
Can I add something in?
Based on what JJ says real quick. Based on what JJ said real quick right there, that does mean a lot just based on the player you're picking, because like I said, Bryce Young does not have that dog in him. If you go back and watch that game last week, there was a play where there was a play, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. There was a play where the play was called blown dead right after you hiked the ball, and whatever defender that got like 3 penalties on us for unsportsmanlike conduct in that game came after CJ Stroud and hit him. And CJ got back in his face and shoved him and pushed him away. Then his offensive lineman came, whatever. That's dog right there. That is NFL fight right there.
Well,
Bryce Young would have looked at him and be like, my bad, man. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to make you mad.
I don't think
Greg.
Problem kind of guy.
Greg, he's so small. He can't physically do that.
Okay, hold on. Let me go to Strats. Go ahead, Strats.
99.9 the fans. Tim Donnelly said something it resonated with me. He said what they went out and did is they bought the star to the Christmas tree, but they don't have the stand, the tree. You haven't even moved the stuff out of the room to prepare to put the tree in there to begin with.
Great. Yeah, that's great.
And then they brought the wrong star for the tree on top of that.
Even if you're not confident in Bryce Young this season, this is an uphill battle for a lot of quarterbacks in this situation. I mean, this roster just has holes everywhere, and that's why I said even if you had like Steve Wilks, if you kept him around, you already knew that he could cover up a lot of the offense's flaws. So
I said this today on Twitter. I would prefer Sam Darnold and Steve Wilks over whatever the fuck we're watching right now.
You know what, Anthony, what you're saying right there is right. Like, he came into a shit show, but if I didn't see Andy Dalton in one game starting with Carolina with the same shit show that Bryce Young has, put up twice what Bryce Young does every week, I would think differently. But because of that, I know there are other quarterbacks that could have come in here and done better than Bryce Young did right now, period. Because there's already one on the roster that is and does better than Bryce Young.
That's fair.
But if that hadn't happened, I would agree with you. But that happened. That happened
58 times, and we didn't even win the game, which proves the roster still has tons of holes.
Hey, Anthony, if we'd have held them to like 14 or 17 or 15 points like we did for all those games for Bryce Young, would he have won that game?
I mean, he probably would have.
That's all I want to know.
But the reality
Bryce
is,
Young only has to score 15 points to win a game, and he can't do it.
But the reality is,
he can't do it.
Yeah. He still threw 58 times because we were down the whole game, which means the offense was not producing when it needed to.
Right. So imagine if he would have had the running game Bryce Young has.
Let me let Pickle go, and then I'm going to introduce someone new. Go ahead.
Behind this current and former staff and players, I'm sorry, y'all can preach and talk and quote stats and do all the hell you want, but fact of the matter is, ain't nobody going to survive that. They talked about that.
I disagree. I've already seen Andy Dalton do it.
You disagree. I do, but let me talk now. But let's be real. Let's cut out the bullshit. If Andy Dalton would have started week 1, he would have been on IR by week 6.
Why do you say that? Bryce Young's smaller and he's not.
Yes, because Andy's older.
That's a bad point, Greg.
No, it's not a bad point.
Andy was hurt a lot last year. He was hurt the year before that. Andy has yet to finish the season as a starting quarterback healthy. That's just a fact. Now you can rearrange it all the hell you want to satisfy your point. But I'm gonna tell you the truth of it. You can go back and hunt up Friday free for alls from way back And me and Kevin said, don't trade up. It's a bad idea to trade up. Don't trade up because the roster's not what you think it is. And simple fact is, if you would have kept the draft picks you had from McCaffrey and you wouldn't have traded up, you would have got a good starter, provided you have a qualified person to draft. That's a whole new other ballgame. Because Scott Fitterer ain't got qualified to find his own self to the fucking bathroom, much less the draft.
Well,
now, that being said, yet today, it's all fucked up. But imagine those draft picks after you traded McCaffrey to now. Without trading up, you could have had a stud team. And then you could have debated about going to quarterback next year. But you didn't do it. They didn't do it. But so all this talk about we should have took this and all that's been talked about for the last 3 months. And we just keep talking the same old bullshit.
I hear you. Well, listen. Well, let me say this: somebody has a bunch of static. Somebody needs to pick. It might be yours. I don't know. There's a bunch of static that somebody has. Yeah, so y'all gotta get that under control. I don't know whose it is.
That might have been me. I'm sitting still now.
Can I touch on that?
Either that or just mute your microphone whenever you move. Wait, hold that thought, Greg. I promise I'm gonna let you rap. Let me introduce somebody to the show. We got Slim Jimma in the building. What's up, Slim?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, man, loud and clear. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing all right, man. I'm reporting in from San Diego, still finishing up a little bit of work. But I saw you guys going live, so I was like, let me pop in real quick and see what's going on.
Yeah, man. Happy to have you,
Shout out
man.
to the West Coast.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Panthers, down in San Diego, bro. We appreciate you. Add to this conversation, man. Jump in on it.
Yeah, man. I hear you. Pickle. I hear what you're saying, man, about not being able to, not worrying about talking about what could have been and what could have happened with the draft pick and such. But honestly, I kind of disagree because, you know, it's really hard to evaluate the season with Bryce, considering we only saw one good game from Andy Dalton where our offense actually produced, and that was it. And you know, who knows what would have happened if we benched Bryce and said, "Hey, man, just take a seat and watch how to operate this offense." Who knows what would have happened, dog? So
yeah,
it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to debate, man. But I personally think it would have been better to start Andy Dalton at some point, because this is a lost season. So what's the point of having Bryce out there, bro? Like, let him take some mental reps.
Right.
Let him take some mental reps.
And now you run the risk of
I'm
getting
tired of
hurt.
that narrative. So what? Let him get hurt then. If he can't take the punishment in a football game, he don't need to fucking play it.
Bro,
so why wouldn't you? So hold on, Pickle. Why wouldn't you say that about Dalton then? Why wouldn't you say that about Dalton?
I don't care.
But you made the argument a second ago that we shouldn't use Dalton because he's injury prone. But if your mindset is if he's getting injured, fuck him, then why wouldn't you put the guy out there who's better? If you're gonna get injured, fuck it. Who cares? That mindset right there cancels your argument.
Okay. It don't cancel my argument. Here's the fact of it. Okay. 99% of those that want Bryce Young bench so they can start Andy Dalton are only desiring that because that way they can have the pleasure to say, see, Andy's better. Andy's better.
No, speculating. Completely speculating. That is complete speculation. There is nothing to back that up. That is totally your opinion. Nope, 100%. That is totally your opinion.
Bring it in. Bring it in.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on. One at a time. Look,
give me a stat to back that up.
All I want to say is this, bro. We did this vice versa. We did this vice versa the other way around, where it was like, people were saying that, we wanted Bryce to even play bad just so that way it would make our pre-draft opinions of him look even better. I want what's better for this team right now. I want to not give the Chicago Bears the #1 overall pick in the draft. There is a legit argument I feel to be made right now that with Bryce under center, this offense is not in the best hands that it could possibly be in. That's not saying that I'm not even really afraid about Bryce getting hurt. Like, to be honest, his toughness is one of the best parts about him. The dude gets hit and he bounces right back up. To me, it's the other things. It's him not being able to handle this offense. It's not going through his progressions. It's staring down wide receivers. It's not trusting anything and everything around him. Then on top of that, you do have a performance where Andy Dalton put up more yards with the same set of receivers and the same offensive line.
Our best quarterback performance this year.
No,
not arguably.
Yeah,
the best.
that is
Arguably.
unfortunate.
Like, let's stop putting fucking bells on everything. It's not arguably. It's the best quarterback performance this year. So let's get that out of there.
On this team right now, it in my opinion, it was the best this year.
Yeah.
Cody,
look.
Man. I'm sorry, man. Listen, I agree with you 100% about Dalton. Listen, Dalton's even better than Derek Carr. He's actually pretty underrated at this point in his career. But I do want to bring something up. Fuck winning. We need Scott Fitterer's ass out of here. Fuck that. Give the Bears the #1 pick. I'm sorry. I'm ready for this front office to be wiped the fuck out of here. I don't want to see Andy Dalton win 4 meaningless games to save their job. I was
also talking about earlier this season, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
Now is also, it's like
season,
whatever.
I agree with you there. Yes. They probably should have done that because then we could have competed for the division. Bryce would have had a red shirt year, and clearly he couldn't handle this offensive pressure and everything that was going on around him. I agree. At this point, though, all Andy Dalton would do was help save the front office.
It helped keep Chicago from getting the first-round pick.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's not the bigger thing, in my opinion. I think.
No. Hold on. Let me interject here. That is the bigger thing because if Andy Dalton can come in here and win, that shows you where your problems really are. If your problem is at quarterback, then you're going to have problems everywhere else on offense when the quarterback is the problem. You put a quarterback in that can manage this offense and you can see where your actual problems are on offense, that's better. Andy Dalton is a better quarterback. I guarantee you, mark this date right now, December 8th, 2023. I'm saying it right now. Bryce Young will never be as good of a quarterback as Andy Dalton. And Andy Dalton's not even a great quarterback. But Bryce Young will never reach the levels Andy Dalton did. Andy Dalton's never even been great. Period. Right there. He will never do it.
Okay, but that doesn't relate to what I just said about Scott Fitterer, though. Like, my whole thing is like... My whole thing is...
Wait. Let me let Anthony finish, and then I got to introduce the people. Go ahead.
Yeah, Greg, listen, I agree with... I mean, listen, your takes, they could very well be true. But I'm saying at this point in the season, if you've been reading these articles and you know what's been going on with this team, the bigger thing of what we all as fans should want is for this front office to be wiped out. But then again, what if Andy Dalton shows he can win games, then that's an indictment on how Fitterer and Tepper do look stupid. Exactly. So in a way, you may be right in both aspects there. All I'm saying is I don't want this front office around. I just have a feeling that if we win a couple meaningless games, then Fitterer's going to, say some bullshit to Tepper like, hey, look, the roster isn't that bad. Maybe Bryce needed to sit a year. Maybe give me one more year to build the offense. I don't want any of those bullshit excuses. I'm done with the front office, but I see where you're coming from, though. I do.
No, what you're saying is very fair, though. Had we won games at the beginning of the season that were frivolous, it's different than winning the last 3 or 4 games of the year, 3 out of the last 4 games of the year because nobody fucking cares and their playoff position is not going to change. I agree with you with that. That's a big change.
Was Scott Fitterer going to be fired last year if Steve Wilkes didn't do such a good job?
Yes, probably. I mean, the team is on track.
I don't think Fitterer's job has been on. I don't think Fitterer's job has been on the line for a while now. If it ever was, I think it was this year. So two things, Jerry. Hold up. 2 things, Jerry with the $4.99 super love chat. We appreciate you, man. There's so much. He's basically saying there are many components to a quarterback. Bryce is a rookie. Dalton is better right now, but Bryce will be better in the future in this bad team. And
based on what, Jerry?
Well, hold on. So look, I'm gonna make my opinion very quickly known.
Okay.
I don't think Bryce is a bust. I don't think that there's been enough evidence to call him such. Maybe he can be better later. I know that right now he is playing like absolute dog shit. And if you had the opinion before the draft that he wasn't the right quarterback, well, you've seen nothing to say that you weren't vindicated in thinking of that. So with that said, I want to introduce somebody who has been known to be Bryce Young's #1 defender. You know it's going to be a lively free-for-all when he's in this thing. It's my homie G-Baby. G-Baby, what's up, dude? Unmute your microphone, bro. We can't hear you. Oh, now he drops out.
He done left.
I give him an intro, and then my man drops out on me.
He probably thought he was something was wrong with it.
Cody, very quickly, let me get in on that.
Yeah.
I got one quick sentence that I want to say to just the whole Bryce Young thing. I shut that shit down with the evaluation of Bryce Young week 4 when I knew Frank Reich's ass was going to get fired. So I'm not doing shit until next season.
Hey, I feel you, man. That was a good point to shut it down. But like I said, my hill's been up. Like I've had admission to all my hill. It was $2.99 at the beginning of the year. If you want to climb my hill now, it's $1. Just donate $1 to C3.
Bro, I can't
realize I am with you. Had the best QB game of the year, though.
You know what?
You back in this bitch? G-Baby, you in this thing?
Yeah, I'm in this motherfucker. What the fuck is this, bro?
I mean, why don't you tell us, bro? What is this?
It sounds like a bunch of crybaby bitches just crying because they didn't get what they wanted, bro. That's what it sounds like to me, bro.
I mean, right now it's kind of sounded like your quarterback. We should be calling him Pee Wee, bro.
Dude, I don't give a fuck about the QB position right now. We have our QB. I'm more worried about the front office and what the fuck we're gonna do for the fucking future. Y'all still crying about the fucking QB. The season's damn near over, and y'all still bitching about the same fucking thing, bro. There's bigger fucking issues in Carolina, bro.
I mean, do we not have a reason to be bitching about things?
There's plenty to bitch about, and y'all continue to bitch about the same fucking thing, bro. When there's bigger issues in Carolina.
Most people are bitching about David Tepper. Most people are bitching about Frank Reich. Most people are bitching about the coaching staff. Most people.
All I hear about is QB. All I'm hearing about is the QB position. There's bigger issues in the QB fucking position.
There are, well, maybe.
Bryce Young is the QB, no matter what any of y'all say. So y'all gonna have to get over that and move the fuck on.
Yeah, for 2 or 3 years till we fucking get rid of it.
Okay, 2 or 3 years. Yeah, 2 and 3 years. But continuously bitching about the same fucking thing is just bad content.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing it right now.
G-Baby, Glenn, give us something different to bitch about then.
Let's talk about the future. You said winning games matter. Winning games right now don't matter.
Actually, it does. It always
No, it doesn't. It does not. It absolutely does not.
Maybe it doesn't to a loser, but it does to me.
Draft position matters, bro.
Maybe it doesn't to a loser.
Not winning games for team morale. That doesn't mean shit.
Fellas, can I say something?
Yeah.
Winning does mean shit.
Honestly, this is why we're a fucking poverty franchise, bro. We're talking about firing coaches and GMs, and we're not focused on winning games. If we had Dalton in when we knew shit was going downhill earlier in the season, we would have had a better chance. But look at the NFC South; it's wide fucking open, and we're just trash.
We could have won this division. Yep, you're right.
And we're just trash, and we're arguing about firing GMs like that's gonna set us up for the next year. But we're gonna be trash until the next GM figures shit out with whoever he brings in. Like if something's going on and something's wrong, I mean, bro, you got to do everything you can do to win.
To be fair, I don't think anyone here is arguing over getting rid of the GM. I think we're all on the same page on that one. But I get your point.
Yeah, everybody wants Fitterer going. I just don't know if it will happen. I'm hopeful that it will. It's not going to surprise me if it doesn't, because I think David Tepper loves the yes man. And I was also listening to somebody today that was saying, like, around the league, Fitterer is still a very respected GM. So, bro, y'all might be wishing for nothing. Y'all might be stuck with Fitterer for a whole nother offseason if shit don't get better.
Marty and Ron were highly respected when they were fired by David Tepper too. There were people.
Who would you rather be stuck with longer? Who would you rather be stuck with longer, Fitterer or Bryce Young?
Fitterer, because Bryce Young, because
none of the above.
Oh, that was a Freudian slip right there. You saw that Freudian slip? He said Fitterer immediately. You saw that?
No, seriously.
Yeah, it was a Freudian slip. Good.
Scott Fitterer has assembled a terrible roster, and the only thing G-Baby's saying here is we got to look forward to see if we can draft some pieces to really evaluate Bryce Young. I put out on Twitter. I put out on Twitter, and Cody liked it too. Listen, Bryce Young has been even more underwhelming from my standards, and I was not high on this team as a whole going in. Does that mean he's a bust? No. This is a mulligan year for me personally. I can't judge him in the correct way that I
got a question for Anthony and G Baby.
Was it a mulligan year before you came in? Because it wasn't a mulligan year.
No,
it
wasn't. It wasn't.
Okay, just checking. So you changed your position. Okay, that's all I want to know. After it got shitty, you changed your position. Okay,
we were regardless.
No, I didn't expect
y'all just wouldn't have
to be the worst in the league. I expected him to have some serviceable offensive line, maybe some decent receivers early on, but
so now you move the goalposts to say that it's not his fault.
I'm not moving the goalposts. I'm just telling it how it is. How can you judge?
That's facts, bro. We have no offensive line. We have no weapons.
Like
coaching change.
Matt Corral.
We're the worst in the NFL. What the fuck are you talking about?
Let me introduce somebody to the show. We got Vegas Drew in the building. Vegas, what's up, dude?
What up, guys? How's it going?
What up, man? How you doing? You have anything you want to add to this crazy discussion, man?
I don't know if it's worth adding anything. It's just gonna be. It's like the two sides. It's the Bryce. It like other people have been saying. It's more than just the QB, but it still boils down to Bryce against the Bryce haters, quote unquote. Because I'm like you, Cody. I'm looped into that group. The Bryce haters against the we shouldn't have drafted anybody kind of thing. You just see a team full of holes. It's just like poor I think it's like I wrote in the comments earlier. I think it's a breakdown of coach. You can see the breakdown of coaching is that all these players are out there doing like God knows what. Like I said, Bryce throws some good balls sometimes, and then there's terrible route running, and then you see a terrible route and Bryce or a good route and Bryce airmails it 10 feet over his head.
Yeah,
like that last play that he threw the pick the last game. I mean, if you would have threw it 5 seconds earlier, Thielen was wide open, but he held on to it and then threw a pick. Like that's on him, man.
Even the last play of the most what was it, a game or two ago where he checked into a bubble screen on the last play of the game, and DJ Chark later on was like, "No, we should have just stayed in the right coverage." Because Frank Reich said that Bryce was right to check into that play, and basically he was putting it on DJ Chark. Like DJ didn't get in the right position. Well, DJ, they asked him in an interview. He was like, "Nah, that was not the right thing. We should have kept the play the original way it was, and I would have been open. There wasn't no single high safety in the play." So,
yeah, I just get tired of hearing everybody like regurgitate crap that they heard on YouTube or on Twitter, where it's like, "Oh, the receivers are never open." I just swear, you ever watch watch Cody's his 22. Watch those guys have a step and a half on somebody and him not even throw it to him.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not even that too, and I love your comment too, because it's not even the fact that they're not open. Because you look at all quarterbacks in the NFL that succeed, they don't always throw to open receivers. They give open receivers on one-on-one battles a chance to win the football, and they put it in a place where that receiver can catch the ball. That's what good.
That's why they say you throw them open. Yeah, that's where that comment comes from.
Yeah, well, this is what bothers me about Bryce defenders, right? Is like everybody who's backtracking right now because Bryce has sucked a big dick this year.
Baby.
They're saying, "Oh well, Bryce doesn't have the team, and Bryce doesn't have this, and Bryce doesn't have that, and blah 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 blah." But I guarantee you, had Bryce with this same team put up 4 or 5 wins this year, they'd be like, "Look how fucking great he is. He can carry a team."
4 or 5 wins ain't enough for me, bro.
It's like, okay, so if you're gonna make the argument,
4 or 5 wins ain't enough. What the fuck is you talking about, bro?
Saying this shit about Matt
4 or 5 wins still would have been shitty for me, man. This fucking team sucks. The coaching sucks, bro. The weapons suck. Our offensive line sucks, bro. Our entire defense has been injured, bro.
Once again,
that's a complete hole, bro. This team is fucking trash, bro.
Right there,
what are we talking about here?
You proved my point, G-Baby.
Yeah, me and Greg's point.
You said everybody sucks except the quarterback. And guess what?
I just said everyone has fucking sucked. And first of all, hold on, Bryce Young hasn't even sucked as bad as you guys make it out to seem. Bro, he's a fucking rookie. He's gonna make mistakes. I would rather him make the mistakes right now. I would rather him make the mistakes right now. He's still standing on his 2 fucking feet.
That's great.
Bro, we got like what, 12 QBs injured in the entire NFL, and Bryce Young is still healthy? What are you guys talking about, bro? He's gonna get through the fucking season. I would rather him go through the bumps and bruises right now, bro. Fuck, y'all some crybaby ass motherfuckers, bro.
So
You're the one screaming and crying, I'm pretty sure.
So look, I'm gonna let everyone go. I gotta get control for a minute because we got people donating their hard-earned money into the show, and those are the people I'm super appreciative of, man. Eric with the $5 says, "I think we could be winning the division right now with the Wills."
No, we wouldn't.
People might tell me to get over it. Guess what? I don't care. He should be the head coach. Appreciate you, man. Jerry with the $4.99 says Panthers will win 28-26. I think the Saints owner is the worst if you really look at it. I'll see you here Sunday to brag the win. Ha ha. And then Dominic with the $1.99 says screw the wide receivers, draft O-line with our first 2 picks. Amen, brother. I definitely am looking forward to doing that.
Yep. I gotta say this. First off, fuck out of here with that Matt Corral shit. He's not on an NFL roster. And 2, Cody, I damn well know you were
y'all would call Matt Corral trash is my point. Y'all would say we need a new quarterback, but y'all excused Bryce Young.
It didn't even get to that point because he ain't even in the NFL right
now.
Y'all
wouldn't have given Matt
He never
Corral
got a chance.
He got zero chance.
Cody,
he got zero chance to ever do it.
A lot of folks go in and out of the NFL and don't get a damn chance. That's part of life.
I mean, that's true, but
no one's complaining about it. We're just stating the fact.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, apparently we are whining. Yeah,
go, Anthony.
Call it whatever you want. Still whining.
Okay, what I want to listen. I talked to Cody about this before. Trevor Lawrence, Cody, I know damn well you were defending his ass on Twitter for how ass he played in his first season, and it was because he was the quarterback you liked. So in this situation, it's like, dude, I know you're not.
No, he also
had a few way better games than Bryce has had.
100% difference.
Hold on.
Bryce Young was never 6'6", 120 pounds, and won a national championship.
Trevor Lawrence's first game, he threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And he also threw for 3 interceptions. So get the fuck out of here.
Bryce Young has still never thrown for 300 yards. Please, get the fuck out of here.
Hey, Jermaine Shepard with the $2.
No, you're not. No.
They be talking
loud.
He was comparison, bro. It's a horrible comparison.
No, he was asked no matter how you look at it. People were calling
the Jaguars
him a bust,
led the NFL in drops, homie. He actually wasn't the worst quarterback in the NFL. We all knew that. We knew Trevor Lawrence wasn't the worst.
Fields was worse.
Get the fuck out
Aren't the Panthers the most penalized team in the NFL as well?
Yeah,
ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous.
Come on, man.
I mean, Anthony, there's a difference between the 2 prospects that is lost when you make that comparison, man. Like everyone expected
Bryce Young to Trevor Lawrence. Come on,
you're missing my point.
No. I'm not missing your point. You're saying that I didn't hold Trevor to the same standard that you're saying I'm holding Bryce to right now. Well, that there's a difference, though. There's a difference.
We didn't trade up to go get Trevor Lawrence. Blah blah blah, bro. We know the fucking story, bro. But it doesn't matter right now, bro.
No, that's not what I was getting into. The point of what I'm saying is Trevor really took off when he got a decent head coach and some decent players around him. All I'm saying is we're going to have to give Bryce more than 1 season to say he fucking sucks and he's out of Carolina. Like, this is ridiculous. Every great quarterback needs some sort of help, whether it's a great offensive line or a great play caller or some great receivers.
But who's his help? Hold on. Who's his help?
He had a 100-yard rusher this past
Who's
weekend.
his help, bro?
He had a 100-yard
Who's
rusher
his fucking help?
Weekend.
Why are you
He had a
yelling?
run game this past Sunday. How about that help?
Hey, I fuck with Chuba.
How about holding the offense to 21 points? Like, are we serious?
Yeah, the defense has been helping.
You had a run game and the defense held them to 21 points, and we just couldn't do shit with it, though. I don't know.
Nah, JJ, you were talking about in the spaces how the defense has not been good at all.
It's ass. Like,
I have
said
a
it's
question.
not as good as people say, but
They're not as bad as you think
Everyone
either.
is all over the place, man.
Y'all are like, what does he have to work with?
In
I just
spaces.
told you what he had to work with. He had a fucking run game and a defense that only allowed 21 points, and he couldn't make nothing of it. And he threw the interception to lose the game when we could have tied it. Like, I just told you. You asked the question, and I gave you the answer. My fault.
Go ahead. Wait, hold on. Go ahead, Pickle.
Y'all need to take a chill pill. In spaces, we have conversations like this all the time, and nobody screams, nobody yells, nobody's
Pick we're
threatening
talking
each other.
about chill pill.
Just
man.
calm down, take a deep
You
breath,
funny.
hold it for about 10 minutes, and if you ain't passed out, you'll feel better.
What are you talking about?
I mean, hey, this is the free for all. You know, we gotta throw some shit around. We gotta break it.
Yeah, well, you know what? Some people that show up just to scream and argue about a quarterback that's already here, that ain't going nowhere, and to keep arguing about the same damn bullshit is kind of a little bit, or no, a lot on insanity.
Well, the problem is you have the like I said when I first got in here, you get the super defenders where it's like he's done no wrong. Truth is, if Bryce didn't, if he turned the ball over, if he turned the ball over half the time, if he turned take away half of his turnovers, we probably have 3 more wins.
For argument, let them finish. Hold on. Wait. Vegas, you have to wait. That was you, right, Drew?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. Let the man finish his thought, and then everybody can open up to it. Let everyone finish their initial thought, and then everybody can fight and go back and forth. Go ahead,
Yeah. My only point is like if you take away half of his turnovers, we probably have 2-3 more wins. I mean, and I'll give him that those are rookie mistakes, but you also can't just say, oh, he's still good despite all those. He's been a problem when you make the game-losing mistake, pick sixes, fumble return for touchdown. There's a lot of meat we left on the bone, and how crappy of a team we have. We can still have 4 or 5 wins right now.
Shit's gonna fucking be crazy up there.
Hold on. I've noticed something that. I've noticed something that y'all do. Y'all will be like, except for this, except for that. Y'all did the same thing when it was the draft process.
Who said it?
A generational prospect if he was 4 inches taller. Why do y'all accept a lot for Bryce Young's performances? That's my next question.
I really
don't.
No,
they don't. This is all bullshit. Vegas, with all due respect, my friend, you're not in spaces. You haven't heard Anthony so many times repeatedly the effect that Bryce lost his game. Bryce screws up.
Exactly.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that's one person though.
Okay, then. When you say the Bryce brothers, you're talking to everybody. If you
I said that's the problem.
One guy out, I understand that. But let's be fair here. Of everybody I'm seeing in the chat, there may be one that I'll call Bryce Truther, but I don't even call him that anymore. Why? Because if Bryce sucks, he'll tell you Bryce sucked today.
Well, then that's not who I'm talking. I'm just saying I'm not accusing anybody of being one way. I'm just saying that's a problem. Is that you're not willing to recognize that? If he's willing to recognize that, then that's good. That's a few.
I've called into the show 6 weeks in a row now. Bryce Young not playing good. I've tweeted out he's been underwhelming. Does that mean I think he's going to be a bust? No. I'm in the stance that even though he has not played good, that we still have to look forward to the future and suck it up. He's our quarterback right now, and the only thing we can do to help him is to hope that this front office puts pieces around him. And that's
the thing too.
Scott Fitterer is got to go.
That's the thing too.
I said he's the #1 public enemy right now. So as much as
me,
you want to talk about Bryce Young, nothing is going to change. We're not going to get enough help for him unless we get a competent front office in here. And that's
but also, hey, look, wait, hold on. I've let everybody talk, man. I also just want to put my opinion that I'm on the other side of that. I understand everybody's talking about, or they're tired of talking about Bryce and CJ and everything about the quarterback. I get it, man. I get it. But you also can't say that it's not relevant to talk about either. When we're talking about, maybe this offense would have been better with Andy Dalton. You can't just pretend that's not a legitimate conversation to have. That's not even worth questioning, because it absolutely is. And then, by the way, when you get rid of DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey, and then you have people that you're expecting a certain level of play over the quarterback that you traded up for, they're allowed to be disappointed when he doesn't meet those expectations.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't say they were not allowed to talk about this.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is he's been in position to make those plays. He just hasn't done it.
Andy Dalton had the best performance. I'm just bringing in some context here. Andy Dalton also threw the ball 58 times. Like you have to, if you're going to talk about Andy Dalton's had a great performance, which he did.
Why does that matter though, Anthony? Why does it matter that
he had more attempts to throw the ball, which means he's naturally going to have more yards.
Well, then he let Bryce throw it 58 times and he have 5 picks, and then everybody be like, "Well, it's because he threw it 58 times."
Right? Like, why are they not asking Bryce to throw it 58 times?
Well, Steve Smith had 10 fumbles his rookie year. Thank God we didn't cut him after his rookie year.
Well, but no one's saying that.
Nobody's saying that's my whole problem. That's my whole problem, right, Cody? It's like I'm bagging on him, but I still am admitting that he's our quarterback, and he could still be a Pro Bowl, a solid player, a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I'm just pointing out he's left a lot. Like I said, he's left a lot out there, and he hasn't been that great.
The same consistency for Bryce Young as we do for Mingo and all these other players. We talk about how Ike Ekwonu.
Can you guys let people talk
every week? But yet it's a problem when we talk about how our quarterback performed.
I know, right?
He's getting that.
No, JJ, you can't say that because you've been talking about how John Mingo plays the easiest team's position,
and we ain't talking nothing but quarterback.
Well, I don't remember the left guard throwing a pick.
That ain't my fault.
He could contribute to it, but he didn't throw it.
All right, if we don't want to have a conversation about the quarterbacks, how about the fact that Bradley Bozeman outright admitted that he's basically meant to be a downhill blocker, and that the Panthers don't do that? The whole point of bringing up this entire conversation is you have a bunch of coaches that refuse to put this team in the position to be successful. Everyone knows that it's running the football, and yet they still refuse to do it, with the exception of these past couple games.
Bozeman's good if he's not the best in the center, like best interior lineman. Like when he was next to Corbett when he was healthy, and next to Christensen when he was healthy. If he's the weak link, then we're in good shape because he doesn't have to help. And when he has to help, he's like, now we have just garbage next to him, and he's just garbage with him.
Cody, I have a quick question because I thought of this earlier. We keep hearing, we have so many holes on this team, but how much is that due to the injuries all over defense and the inability for these coaches to scheme and game plan around the strengths of this actual team?
It's both, JJ.
Yeah,
it's both.
It is both.
Yeah, you're scheming with players that are not. I will say our wide receivers are not NFL caliber.
A lot of it on defense is you got players that are playing that honestly aren't ready to play as much as they're playing. For example, I'll use Imaro Barno. He's played a lot. A lot of yes. And reality.
I would say he's gotten better too.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he's done good for where he was drafted and what he's doing.
Yeah.
But as far in reality, he should be playing more on special teams and less on D-line.
Cody,
but
did you?
But he's
he needs to get a little more ass on him. He's a little thin.
He does. And even that DJ Johnson has played quite a bit, and he nowhere near is ready to start.
What were you going to say, Strats?
I was going to say.
Him in there, so.
Did you view? All right. Well, I guess it doesn't have to be exactly Cody, but anyone. Do you view at what Bozeman said about himself not being as optimal? Do you view it as an excuse, or do you view it as
get the fuck out of Carolina? That's how we all.
No,
feel.
it's the truth.
No, that's a
Yeah, it's true.
Well, that's a great question, Strats. My opinion, I don't love it because to me it kind of sounds like you're admitting, well, not that you're a one-trick pony.
Kind of make an excuse.
If we asked you to take on a more pass-happy role as a center, like, are you not capable of doing that? I would prefer that my center be well-rounded and be able to do a lot of different things at a high level. Maybe I'm too demanding. I don't know.
Well, that goes back to what I said, Cody, is that when he, like in a normal pass rush situation, he might be double teaming with Corbett or with Christensen, and those two could kind of hold up on a pass block on their own, and he's just in a complement. But now when he has to carry a heavier load, he's just not that. He doesn't have that skill. He's about a mid-range center.
And people have been saying this about Icky also.
Yeah.
He's better as like
Icky's been terrible, man. That dude's been in concrete.
I mean, so is Bozeman. I mean, Bozeman's been terrible too.
Oh yeah, that's what I just got done saying. He's not been good.
Have we not been saying that they're power run blockers? They're not pass blockers.
Yeah.
I mean, when you
that's why we were successful last year.
When you go and you search and Cody, when you do your evaluations of guys in the draft, you do offensive linemen, do you not look and see if they pass block or run block better? Which one's better?
Oh yeah, I mean you look at what their best traits are.
Yeah,
well, that's what Charles Cross. He was supposed to be the pass blocker.
Exactly.
Right.
To me, a lot of this goes that number one, it is Fitterer's fault because it's Fitterer's fault, and it's the coaches.
Got to be a little bit of Campen's fault too.
A real head coach and offensive coordinator. And forgive me, I learned this off John Fox. I learned this going with John Fox's team and the early Ron Rivera and way back. I'm 55 for those of you who don't know. I learned this a long time ago. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But to me, I've learned a good head coach will take his players, he will take his scheme and wrap it around his players. He will adapt his scheme to fit his players. Thomas Brown will not do that. Thomas Brown says his players will play his scheme or they ain't no good. That's exactly what that pitch said.
Yeah, that's a good point, Pickle, because what they should be doing is adapting it to fit the players they have now while they attain those players that they need that they can run their system with.
Let's dig down into that. So Chuba Hubbard had 100 yards rushing in the first half of the Detroit game last year. He's only just now last week eclipsed that 100-yard mark. As a matter of fact, Chuba Hubbard is the only player that was able to achieve 100 yards for the Panthers this season. We were able to do that quite often last year under Steve Wilkes. And now you look and you say you look at the offense now and you say, well, who has performed up to par? With nobody. Everyone's regressed. We brought in 4 free agents for the offense in the preseason in the offseason, and the only one that's performed is Adam Thielen. Other 3 have been absolute failures, and yet we're gonna drill down and blame players. Well, there must be something more to this, and I think Pickle's starting to scratch the surface on it. Yes, of course, it's Thomas Brown. It's the type of offensive scheme that we're running. We're not able to run it for 100 yards anymore. We're not able to pass protect, and when you can't do those things, we expect to have an effective offense with a rookie quarterback. It's absolutely ridiculous. We need to look at the facts, guys.
It gets back to that whole.
Everybody on the offense has regressed, and I don't see how you really combat that because no one has performed up to par. Even Taylor Moton. Taylor Moton is probably is our most veteran offensive lineman, and he's had a horrible season as well. To the point where I thought that maybe we would be best off to move on from him after this season. Go ahead, Vegas.
Oh no, I was going to say the same thing. It's like I don't know if it's right to I mean, we can put it on Thomas Brown, but also it's Reich's system. But I'm saying at the same time, it's the same excuses we made for Fitterer at that same point. We're like, oh, is it really Fitterer or was that rules crap? And he's finally but we're just going to have to, it's going to have to be a clean cut. I feel like the only guys we'll end up retaining is probably, God, I don't want Campen, but I'll take Ejiro and
retention.
And what's a special court? What's our guy? I can't think of his name right now.
Tabor.
It honestly doesn't. It honestly doesn't matter it doesn't matter who is in charge because ultimately David Tepper is in charge, and honestly he's the one to blame because when you bring up a whole system where you got all these people making decisions and you're saying that you want them to be able to just be able to express their opinions. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. And now
you need a strong leader to give you the right direction.
You need to just trust the system and let it roll because that's why Frank Reich got fired talking about we're not a power running team when everything points to the fact that we are a power running team based on what the roster is set up as. And it's
Frank Wright's a dumbass.
Yeah, you want a perfect example of how to adapt your team. Look at the defense. I mean, we're not really set up for a 3-4 defense, but our defense really hasn't been that terrible.
No,
I know people are like, "Oh, we're giving up ton," but like they've held up.
Defense has been the only reason that we've been in games, like at all, and all the injuries that we've had on defense too. Like I do give credit to Avero. I mean, I would love to retain him. I don't know if we will. I don't know if he's going to get a head coaching job either. So
I doubt it.
If we could retain him, I would like to. But hang on. Strats had something he was going to say. Go ahead, Strats.
Thanks, Cody. All right, I have a 1 point on retention. I'll save that for the second part. The first part is with Thomas Brown. That was his fourth game calling plays. So, I mean, here's the thing. If we're going to paint the picture of saying like, okay, Bryce, he's a rookie in his first year, we can't be too hard on him. Can't we say the same thing about coaches being a rookie in their first year of that particular role?
Yeah, but that's the thing. He's going to get axed either way, though.
I've been saying that forever, man. That if you're going to give a certain person that had nothing to do with the offseason moves, like Bryce Young, if you're going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, oh, well, you need more time, I felt like it was also a fair assessment to make up the coaching staff. Because, yes, even though they might have had some say-so in a lot of areas of the draft, it doesn't mean that coaching staff is now all of a sudden responsible for the past 3 years of drafting and missing out on your draft picks. So that's not necessarily their fault either. I agree 100%. I think it was hard to just put everything smack dab on this coaching staff. That essentially David Tepper forced Frank Wright to go out and hire outside of his normal circle. Like go and hire a Thomas Brown, even though technically you two have two different offensive philosophies. Whatever. Go get Caldwell. That's fine. Go get Deuce Staley. Everyone loves that guy. That's fine. It all seems good on paper, but everything about it seemed forced on Frank Wright.
Yeah.
And that's also
one more point on retention.
I mean, Tepper never forced Frank Wright to hire anybody. He suggested hire folks outside your circle.
No, I think he deliberately, that article, it sounds like he deliberately said, make sure you do this.
Well, and I don't know if any of you guys have ever coached before. You get these, like I know I was like an assistant coach on a crappy basketball team at one point. And every time that happens, when you have a bunch of people who are, skilled like in their field, like offensive coaches, they all have their own opinion, and you have all those highly decorated offensive minds on there. And like he said, too many cooks in the kitchen. You also have all these people like, oh, I would have done this. And I bet they told that to Tepper because they weren't necessarily rule guys. So they knew that they could go surpass him and just go to the owner and be like, oh, I would have ran this play. Like, oh, I would have done this differently. And like put themselves in a shining light and then just jump past, oh, I'll get his. So, I mean, I think that it kind of comes down on Reich. As much as I like him as a dude, like he seems like a cool guy, but like it was just too. You need someone in there, like Dan Campbell. You need someone who's like I don't say you don't need that, but I think we as a Carolina Panthers need that. You need someone who's who's alpha in there.
Who's going to come in when David Tepper wants to be the alpha? Who's going to come in when your boss, the owner, is right behind your neck?
There's only two guys out there that could do that. Is if I'm not saying this is going to happen, but like if it was Belichick, someone that who has a track record, or Harbaugh, someone who has a huge track record, I feel like they could be like, if I'll come to this team, but this is what's going to happen, and if you want to hire me, get out of my way type thing. But those are the only people I think that have that kind of.
There's no way Tepper's at all. There's no way Tepper's fucking with that.
Let me say.
Oh, I agree, but I'm saying that's the only way that would happen.
Right. Well, let me say one thing, and then I'll move on. Pickle, it's like we were talking about before. I was listening to Mike Florio give that example of if you're a billionaire and you suggest to everyone around you how much you like Reese cups, well, all of a sudden you're gonna find Reese cups around your office more often. But even if David Tepper went out to Frank, and even if he didn't outright say, hire Thomas Brown, hire Jim Caldwell, it's not hard to give someone enough hint to say, hey, this is what I want. You know? And that's kind of my belief. That's what happened
I understand
with
that.
the quarterbacks and the coaches.
All right, boys, I got to bounce.
I appreciate you, dude. Thanks for coming on the show today, man.
I'm just in opinion that regardless, Thomas Brown was put in this situation, and he has failed miserably. I'm not talking failed a little bit. I'm not talking he has just one area that don't work. Yeah. I'm talking across the board. In his entire he's the offensive coordinator. He's been the offensive coordinator since day one, since preseason and training camp. The playbooks he put together.
Yeah. It has to be miserable. On. Yeah.
The offensive scheme for the line is miserable. The receiver scheming to get open is miserable. The play calling that he's done, why he's done play calling is miserable. There's no, I mean, I'm asking somebody on the chat, on this panel, on Twitter, maybe the federal government, somebody tell me one thing as offensive coordinator Thomas Brown has done right. Just one. Just say he carried the water bottle right.
My only way that I could even possibly defend Thomas Brown from this is by saying, well, if Frank Reich went to him and said, hey, we're going to be a pass-happy football team, this is what I want you to do, then maybe he had the mandate. I don't know. If you're the offensive coordinator and you know that you're a run-first football team, I think that you need to stomp your feet and make it known that you need to be running the football, and that is your job as coordinator. And if you don't feel confident enough to say that to your coach, bro, you got some more issues. But hey, man,
you can't defend none of these motherfucking coaches, bruh.
Hey, man,
none of them.
Look, before we go any further, I got to do this, man. Y'all know we always show love to our sponsor at PrizePicks. Download PrizePicks today and play daily fantasy sports. Make sure you use the promo code C3 when you sign up. All users that use our promo code C3 receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. And I wanted to kind of give y'all a look at some of the fantasy action that I'm taking. I've got $20 to win $200. I got Josh Allen at less than 2.5, either passing, rushing, or receiving touchdowns. I got Travis Kelce. All I need is for him to get a touchdown. Pass rushing or receiving. Joe Mixon, all he needs is a touchdown, passing, rushing, or receiving. And I got DJ Moore at more than 5.5 receptions against the Detroit Lions, man. All of our users have been winning money using our promo code. And we appreciate y'all for doing it, man, because when you support the sponsor, you help support us. That is PrizePicks.com. Use the promo code C3 when you sign up. All users that use our promo code will receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100, man. Get in on that action. Join today, man. Like I said, C3 users have been winning money left and right, man. So we appreciate them. That's PrizePicks.com. I wanted to open up that conversation to everyone that's on the panel. Do you feel like Thomas Brown needs to take more of the blame for how inept this offense is? Do you agree with Pickle on that front?
No. Can I pop in here?
No.
Sure.
Here's the thing.
We'll go Stratch first, and then we'll go, I believe it was Dominic.
Who designed the playbook? And if you say Thomas Brown, I don't know. That doesn't sound like how. With all, no, not fully.
Hold on, let him finish. Hold on, let him finish.
It wasn't. It was Reich with. Did you read the article yet?
Yes, I did. I read it 4 times.
Okay, so half of it was Reich's offense, and the other half, or we don't actually know the percentages. I would say a smaller portion of it was wrapped around the offenses that Thomas Brown was trying to bring to the table from the Rams, I suppose, or whatever it is. But
right.
With that being said, I mean, first off, I don't think anyone thought like, hey, I mean, how often have you ever seen a team that's tried to use that combination of playbook before? I don't think anyone stopped to think about that. Like, oh shit, should we even try this? Because I mean, for one, it's not like it works at all that well, or maybe it's the personnel issue combined with it. But still, it doesn't seem that fiery, anyways. It seems like lackluster. Even if you did pull it off, it doesn't have any flair to it anyway. But I mean, here's the thing: Reich had 2 teams, more than 2. I guess it was 3 or 4 teams that he was. Last year was head coach. This year's head coach. Before that, it was Eagles and whatever it was, right? But Thomas Brown, how many years total, like offensive coordinator plus, like high up coaching positions does he have? I don't think it's many.
I believe this is his first year as a coordinator.
Yes.
So you got to give it. If we're going to give Bryce the benefit of the doubt on his first year, we have to do it for the coaches. And it's not like he can. And here's the other thing, too. I personally believe we win this weekend. I believe he runs the ball more. I think we saw that last weekend. He ran the ball more. It takes a second to kind of see these minute changes in the leadership style of Tabor, kind of, and all the coaches. What would you change your opinion if we won this weekend?
No.
All right, fair enough.
Thomas Brown is a lame duck of a play caller.
Yes, he is.
I'm not saying he's fantastic, but I'm not thinking.
If we win this Sunday, boy, will that be my Super Bowl? Because I hate the Saints.
It's like I said, and I don't mean this disrespectful at all. I just want somebody to tell me one good thing on as an offensive coordinator he's done. Give me one position that's looked.
How many times has he bailed us out and won the game, Pickle?
He won the only game this year. Is that good for you?
Did he win?
No. How many have we lost?
Did he win or did Bryce win? Or did the running backs win? Maybe the offensive line decided to block. Or as what some people are claiming, not that I agree with it, but you all know they're out there. Or did the defense actually step up and win that game? I mean, those are questions that that are there.
I'm not.
There's even Texans fans that are saying that C.J. Stroud threw it for his buddy Bryce.
Fact.
I mean, I'm just saying it's there.
Here's what I think is happening.
Bro, that was one game.
He definitely did that.
I think every week
that one game was Lubu's player of the week.
So mad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Well, hang on, real
That's a
quick.
great point, Deez. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, well, my thing is this. Like, I agree. It's hard to put everything on Thomas Brown. And I do think that Frank Reich, again, this is part of the reason why I believe he wanted CJ, was because this offense was very, in my opinion, not built for Bryce. And I kind of think that they knew that this offense was going to be in a certain way. And members of this coaching staff wanted to get a quarterback to be able to fit that. By the way, you say statuesque. That's a great word, Deez, because I would describe Andy Dalton as statuesque. And he was able to put up he was able to put up almost 400 passing yards. So that's why I'm like, to me, it's, if you want to question some of those things, that's fine. Where I have a real hard time defending Thomas Brown, it comes last week, man. You've been running the ball all day. Chuba Hubbard is over 100 yards rushing on 3rd and 1 and on 4th and 1, 2 downs in a row. You decide to put the ball in Bryce's hands and not run the ball to get a yard. Like, that's hard for me to defend.
If this is his first year,
right? And it's his
what
first.
if he
I'm not
changes it
saying
next week? Same thing happens, and he doesn't do that, and he actually pulls it off. He converts and he runs it on one of them. Would that change your opinion?
I mean, this is learning. Yeah. I mean, this is moving in the right direction. Yeah, if I see growth from him, I have no problem with him doing that. To me, it's just
so how can you get mad at Bryce Young if he's playing in an offense that's not meant for him, but he's still on his fucking front 2 feet? He's still gonna be able to get through the fucking season. He's gonna get a new fucking head coach and all that shit. So I don't understand. I don't understand, bro.
Hold on. It is a stature offense for a tall pocket passing quarterback. Come on, guys. That's literally like over half the NFL. We're sitting here talking about why our
you
come on.
proved my point.
It goes both ways.
G Babies proved my point. A quality offensive a quality coaching staff. Regardless, a quality coaching staff. Even Ben McAdoo did it. He adapted his offense.
Yeah.
The players
4 plays.
Exactly.
With a different playbook.
Well, okay, but McAdoo made his playbook. He started the year with it, and he ended the year with it.
Yeah, okay, well, we had the same
Thomas said
playbook, and
there's
it's
no
not good
proof.
from the start.
Yeah, but Thomas Brown is offensive coordinator. Well, now you can make the argument that he shouldn't be because he's not qualified. But the bottom line is he is the offensive coordinator. He took the job, and so far he can't handle it.
Let's say it was 60
Well, we're 1-11.
60% Reich and 40% his offense combined.
It's
Then
irrelevant.
he can't. He's not going to be able to override what rule.
It's irrelevant,
what
irrelevant how
Frank said.
percentage of what it is. I have no proof of this, but I was sitting where
I
I'm
can
sitting
get-
right
we
now,
can get proof.
watching a computer
Well, let
screen,
me-
and heard a reporter ask Frank Wright where Thomas Brown was. Because he wasn't at the beginning of the combine. And he said he's at the stadium making the play, putting the playbook and other stuff together.
Pickle in the 22.
No,
this
you're
week.
right. You're right. And I agree with Strats. All Strats said right there in his last statement, he said Reich's playbook was ass. And I agree with that 100%. Because if you go back to the Colts and all the fans for Indianapolis, they where'd they go? They went 9 quarters without scoring a touchdown last season. They had players gambling in the locker room against the Colts. They had players not showing up to team meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that 100%. Strats. Wright's playbook is ass.
Let me add into this. Hold on, let me add into this conversation as well. One of the things that we've mentioned before is how often the Panthers are in 11 personnel, and that the Los Angeles Rams, they also are in 11 personnel the majority of the time, which makes sense. I mean, Thomas Brown comes from the Los Angeles Rams. However, the amount of pre-snap motions that the Rams implement is frequent. Like, they're motioning players. There's a lot of movement for the defense to have to reckon with before the ball is snapped. There is almost no pre-snap motion with the Carolina Panthers. Maybe they'll send one guy into motion, but for the most part, the receivers line up. They run 7 to 10 yards deep in their route. They stop and they come back. Well, if you want to do that, you have to give the defense more to bite on. Like I was saying, with motions, putting Bryce under center, and that's something that the Panthers never do. I do think that as the offensive coordinator, that if it was Frank Reich's system or Thomas Brown's system, you have to be able to make the recommendations that I know you know how to make. You literally came from the place that's doing what you want to do at a successful clip in the Los Angeles Rams. So again, if he's able to get better, I'll say that he's gotten better. But I believe that right now, especially when you look at the offense and how bad we are compared to other teams, you have to put a fair share of that blame onto Thomas Brown, especially after he was named offensive coordinator the first time, and the offense got even worse than it was under Frank Reich. So again, it's a little bit of both. You have to kind of say he's young to the position, he's learning on the fly, but there's some unacceptable stuff. And it's the same thing with Bryce, man. I'm not saying Bryce is a bust, but I'm saying when there are plays to be made, Bryce Young is also not making those plays, and it doesn't make me a hater to point out that he's not making those plays.
Yeah, because he's got 5 fucking off defensive linemen in his fucking face, and he's got fucking no time, bro. No weapons. What the fuck can you do with that shit? Ain't nobody gonna succeed in this fucking weak ass team, bro.
There's never a moment when he'll
Bro, I'm saying every now and then, yeah, there might be some open receivers, but more I've seen probably 9 out of 10 times he's got 2 or 3 defenders in his fucking face, bro. Our offensive line is piss poor, bro.
I was gonna hand
it's pathetic.
this to Pickle. I know that we're debating against the opposite take, but I was going to give you a line that if you had read The Athletic right here, this is what I would have used to defend the point. Reich, who turned 62 on Monday, would often use the phrase diversity of thought when describing his staff. But trying to incorporate Brown's ideas into a system featuring shotgun sets and horizontal stretch game pass proved to be clunky. Now, there's a deeper dig on this, though. That's your point, Pickle. That's what I would argue the hell on to win that one. But here's the thing. I think it's clunky when you combine it with what Frank was doing. And it goes back to my earlier point of like, I don't know well enough. You guys might be someone here is probably an expert on different the ideas of play calling and who use what types of offenses through back to 82. Like, I don't have that. But what I can say is I think that they just didn't mesh well together concept wise, because they're like fire and what's the opposites of oil and water, like, and I don't know enough about it, but it feels like that's what happened. And it doesn't help that Brown doesn't have a whole bunch of experience, so that just adds on top of it, makes it look worse.
I think it's both of those things. I think it's him not having the experience, and the fact that you're having to blend these two different offensive philosophies together. Go ahead, Dominic.
I just want to ask a question. I was going to ask do you guys think if Frank Wright would have let Thomas Brown call the first half of the season, call the plays, it would have saved his job instead of him doing the plays first?
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely the best move to make in hindsight, because then let's say you start the season with Thomas Brown calling plays. If it doesn't go well, then okay, then you're just taking the play calling back. Whereas, look at what actually happened. The offense didn't look good, and then he had to get egg on his face by saying, okay, I'm going to hand off the play calling to Thomas Brown.
Yep.
So, yeah, he should have definitely went the other way on that one. No doubt.
I think that I think the biggest issue isn't really the calling plays to me personally. It's the fact that who we have on our roster doesn't fit what we have on the scheme. I mean, I'll use it for example. The offensive line is a power run blocking offense. They are. Okay. That's just what they do best. We don't have a power running back on our offense, on our team. We have maybe one that it might be close, maybe Chuba Hubbard, but I wouldn't call him a pure power runner. Now, then you have your tight ends. Your tight ends are pretty much possession tight ends. They don't really block super great, but they don't break tackles and get open either. So they're not receiving tight ends. Then you look at your receivers are mismatched together. You got one speed guy, and that's all he can do effectively is speed routes. Then you got Adam Thielen and Mingo and Marshall, who are all three slot receivers. None of them play outside. So, I mean, and then I'm not even going to talk about the other guys. And then you got Bryce Young, a rookie quarterback who, again, fits a Kyle Shanahan offense, not a Frank Wright or Thomas Brown offense. So effectively, you're putting all these guys together in a mismatched bowl of jelly, shaking them all up and say, everybody have one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like putting raisins and dead flies and chocolate M&Ms and cockroaches all in one bowl and handing them out. Have a treat. I mean,
dead flies and cockroaches.
I don't care if I love M&Ms. I ain't sticking my hand in that.
Ew.
I mean, that's exactly what
that shit sounds disgusting.
Yeah. So hey, look, we still got over an hour that we're gonna go, so we got some time. I actually wanted to change subjects because, believe it or not, there's actually more going on outside of the football team that we still have to talk about. And how about this one? Say goodbye to Wofford College, as from now on, the Carolina Panthers are gonna hold training camp in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, I'm going to admit, your boy loves this because I'm in Charlotte, man. Like, I can literally, it'll be nothing. It'll be nothing for me to be able to go to training camp instead of going an hour to Spartanburg. It was our first time going this year. It was a great experience, but apparently that will be the last. It's also the last vestige of Jerry Richardson and his imprint on this team. That was famously where Jerry Richardson went to school, and now no more. Does anybody feel strongly or not about the Carolina Panthers moving to the Charlotte area for training camp?
I like it. I get how people hate it, though.
I understand a lot of
South
people,
Carolina people.
I understand about a lot of people especially those who live locally in that area. I understand that, and
I think it's really.
a lot of folks. I'm sorry. I just want to add this. A lot of folks online, when they first found this out, especially on Twitter, they were really disgruntled with things, and they made statements. Well, I'm just going to quit being a fan and stuff like that, and they're jumping off the wagon. And I made a comment, and I'm not going to back down from their comments. I thought I was going to, and I've changed my mind. I'm not going to. Folks, if you are a part of that group and you're tired of following somebody who wants to jump off the boat every time a little rocky road hits, you come to C3. We may not always agree, but you're always going to find us here through the good times and the bad. When it gets ugly like it is now, we might be arguing, but you're going to hear us, and we'll be here.
That's it.
We win a Super Bowl, we're going to be here.
If we go 1-11, C3 is going to be here.
Well, do you want to take a poll and everyone, like, 1 in chat for yeah, yay, and 2 in chat for nay?
Wait, if we're gonna be here that long, if we're gonna be here for all that to turn around.
Oh, you can actually do polls, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm gonna put one. But what you want me to ask?
Oh, if everyone thinks it's good or bad that they're moving training camp to Charlotte.
Oh yeah. All right, perfect. But I mean, they said they're still gonna do some things in South Carolina. I don't know where. Apparently, they're moving FanFest there, which that kind of sucks because I was enjoying.
That's stupid.
I love doing FanFest at the stadium. It's also a great excuse for C3 members to come and meet up and hang out in Charlotte. But I guess now that's going to be replaced with training camp. So I kind of halfway understand it.
Did you listen to the Process Blue podcast, Cody? I think it was a Process Blue podcast.
No, I don't.
Okay,
I don't believe I did.
I'm a lot like D's. I listen to so much through the week, I forget where I hear stuff at, and sometimes it gets quite aggravating when I want to quote it. But they were talking that during this past training camp when they were there, I guess there's a big room, cafeteria, conference room, whatever it is down there where the players congregate a lot. And when reporters walked into it, there on the side wall, there's a big mural of Jerry Richardson. The Panthers had a big black tarp over top of it to where you couldn't see who it was. And there's a statue down there that has Jerry Richardson. And they were talking about back in the day, they really never worried about charging Panthers for different things. Wofford didn't, because they knew they were going to get a big check from Jerry Richardson. It was all right. But the last couple of years, everything the Panthers did, they were charged a separate bill for it. And a lot of it has to do with Tepper's wants to move the team away from the Jerry Richardson days. And that's what the reporters' comments were. That's a lot to do with it. But it's also the fact of, the bubble. I don't know that we're planning to talk about this. If you was, I apologize.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that's all a part of it. They're going to plan they want to remove the bubble.
Right.
And they want to build out that area to be more of like a practice.
And the assumption that a lot of Charlotte reporters have is they're planning to charge fans to come in and see practice. And I haven't been to practice area next to the stadium.
That's a weird twist.
But if I go on Google and look at it, that's all I can do. I go on Google and look at it because I'm not driving to Charlotte just to see the practice area. Y'all, I just ain't gonna do it. Cody, you live there. Maybe you know. They don't have any room down there to put bleachers and stadiums or nothing like that. There's hill there for fans to stand.
Well, it's get rid of the bubble.
It depends on what they build there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Deez.
Tepper bought land down there like. Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, good deal. He bought land down there in Charlotte like a couple weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago, and now they're expanding on that. And then they went ahead and moved it. They moved it because of what Pickle was talking about. It's about ego. You know what I mean? We're talking about an owner who tore down former boss's house and built a parking lot just to be a jerk about it. You know what I mean? Like, he's got an ego, and that's why he was covered up Jerry Richardson. When in honesty, what Tepper should have done is embrace Jerry Richardson and gave it and showed a little honor to him, and that would have won over more fans and made him more money. But if it ain't dollars, it ain't about cents, and that's how the Teppers roll, man. You're talking about a hedge fund manager. He's moved this thing to Charlotte. I think Strats is right. If he's got room from tearing down the bubble, maybe he can put some bleachers in, sell some tickets. We saw the numbers almost double because we traded up to the number 1 overall pick for training camp. I don't know if y'all remember that number. I don't know exactly. I know it was close to double, something like 8,000 to 16 this year. And on top of that, if y'all did go to training camp, you realize that we were parking all over Wofford's lawn, and that could have been like a final straw that kind of broke up things with them too, because that was a big ass turnout. Like the stands on both sides were full. So people were really excited about the 1 overall pick. But let me just say, shout out Muscles Marinara and shout out Monster Subs in Spartanburg. If you guys are in Spartanburg for whatever reason, go check this guy out. Get you a big old sandwich from the Italian. He might give you some gabagool. He taught me that word last night. He might give you some gabagool on your sandwich. I don't know. Muscles, shout out to you, man. Best of luck down there in Spartanburg. I hate the Panthers. Did you like that? Tepper's just got an ego, bro. It is what it is. Go ahead, Cody.
Yeah, man, he definitely does. And definitely a shout out to our paisan, Muscles Marinara at Monster Subs and Grubs in Spartanburg, South Carolina, man. Y'all check them out if you're in the area. Show that C3 love. Tell them you're a C3 fan too, man. PJ will hook a brother up, or a sister, man. He'll hook someone up if they need to be hooked up.
Right.
Next
and
up,
if you're in Spartanburg and you don't go to Monster Subs, shut the hell up. You ain't no damn thing.
What happened, Cody?
That's right. So no, I wanted to bring up something that was kind of wild to me and wild to find out. And it's this right here. Let me bring it up. Let me click on it. So Hayden Hurst, after a hit he took in Chicago against the Bears, he ended up being diagnosed with post-traumatic amnesia by an independent neurologist as a result of the hit he took. A slow recovery. Don't know when he'll be back. Prayers appreciated. And then they showed that he's already back at practice. Now he's in a red jersey. He has his helmet on, but he's getting prepared to play. I don't think he'll be active. I don't know if he's going to be active this Sunday.
He's not playing this Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, even still, bro. If you ever got amnesia from playing football, like, doesn't that give you a Luke Kuechly type of a scare?
It does.
And like, again, I hate to bring this up, but like, I know that he's also made it quite known his struggles with mental health before and how important that is for him. Then to get some post-traumatic amnesia, man, like, I don't know if this season is worth coming back and making worse that injury. Like, am I alone on this?
Maybe what they're doing though is
to be fair though, in Hayden Hurst's real quick stats.
Go ahead.
To be fair for Hurst, he could be playing for his career right now. You know, this could be like his last stop. You know, you never know if another team's going to give him another chance, especially after hearing this news, after how inconsistent he's been his whole career. Now, I'm not saying it's the right thing. He should be on there, on the field still, but you never know, man. Just keep that in account.
Yeah, maybe he just feels pressure. Yeah,
that's
pressure.
If I can interrupt just a minute.
Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get your pick. I'm gonna go Strats and then
you got to pickle first if you want. I don't mind.
It's up to y'all, man. I just try to make sure everybody gets.
Pickle, you're biting the chomp. Go for it.
Hayden Hurst commented on this on Twitter. He replied to those posts. He did, and if they're on Hayden Hurst, he said, "I appreciate everyone reaching out and checking on me. I suffered a pretty nasty concussion against the Bears."
Oh, let me pull that up.
Yeah, there's two posts. He did them back to back. He talks about career ending and stuff on them. So it's important to the conversation. I got
it right here.
Good idea, Pickle.
Yeah, no, thanks for bringing this up.
Yeah.
He says, all right, yeah, no, this is great. I didn't even know about this. Hayden says, I appreciate everyone reaching out and checking on me. I suffered a pretty nasty concussion against the Bears a few weeks ago and don't remember up to 4 hours after the game. Scary situation, but Panthers have been incredible walking me through this process. While it is scary, it is not career ending. I'm starting my return to play this week, so fingers crossed I make it back for the last few weeks. God bless and keep pounding. So credit to the dedication. Credit to the dedication.
Yeah.
Man, I still don't know if it changes my opinion a lot. Like if I'm just saying, if I got amnesia, and I'm not blaming him either. I mean, the man is in charge of his own body. If he wants to play, if he wants to play football and he's cleared to play football, God bless you. No argument from me. I'm just saying, if it was me that I didn't remember up to 4 hours after the game, that's again, man, that's why I bring up Luke. It's like you have some of those moments that just scares you so much. It's like, man, I mean, Hayden may never have been considered an elite tight end, but my man has made some scratch, you know? It's not like if he did walk away, he'd be walking away penniless, you know?
If I may add real quick, I saw Dan Morgan go through a lot of this. Dan Morgan, for those you don't know, his playing career ended because he kept getting concussions and he wouldn't retire. So the team released him for his own health. Now he retired, semi-retired, and then he retired. Then he came back and tried to play for the Saints, but he was never truly active for games any. But he ended up just walking away and then going into the office much. But anyway, I thought it was interesting, and I wish we could have the clip of it somewhere. But when Hayden was on the field exercising, okay, you know what I'm talking about. Dan Morgan hugged him and fist bumped him, and I thought that tells me, you know, pretty much Dan knows what he's going through, you know, and I'm not gonna lie to you, have had a concussion before. A very bad concussion.
I'm sure we all have.
I was in a car wreck.
It when it happens.
Anyway, yes. So I pray for him, but I don't think he should play again. But it's not my call. So
you know, when you get I distinctly remember one of the many I'm sure I've had. Obviously, not playing NFL football, but backyard football. You know, and like you hit someone and they hit you like right in the side or somewhere on your head, and like your vision goes like white for a sec, like, and there's probably other variations to it too, but yeah, we've all but what I was gonna say though, oh damn, the comment just went away. It was Christian's comment. Oh yeah, thank you. Oh right, so his dad was on Twitter talking about it too, but the last part of the sentence there is what I was focused. I think we're hardly going to see this dude on the field at all. And this kind of goes back to what you're saying on the practice field. Why is he practicing? I think it's two part. I think one part of it is kind of putting up a front, so to speak, on not like a negative context, but in a positive one. Like he wants to appear like he's still active and whatnot. But also, I think mainly, I mean, if it feels like they're keeping him on the practice field to kind of see if they can bring him, like not bring him along, but like, you know, keep him in the same loop as everyone.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to look at it, and like I said, as long as he feels confident about his decision, you know, like I said, God bless him. It's his body, it's his health. If he feels good enough to play and he's been cleared by a doctor, let him play. But is it also like crazy to y'all that you don't hear about that more? Like you hear about CTE, you hear about concussions, but you never really hear amnesia. And that's why I think that was more jarring than other injuries, like other head injuries that we've seen before. It's like, damn, right? You're thinking of like some acne cartoons when you're thinking of amnesia. And someone that just doesn't remember where they were for a couple hours, like that's pretty. I
remember watching an NFL football player get nearly knocked out. And it's been many years ago, and he got up and he walked to the bench and sat down. And somebody brought him a bottle of water. The only problem was he was on the wrong bench. and they picked him up and had to show him to go on the other side of the field.
Wow.
To the right bench.
Yeah.
And now he had played for that team a couple years before then, and he couldn't remember anything. He never did play again.
Well, think about
Because he
too,
couldn't
like with
remember. But
every
yeah.
year, does it not feel like we have more and more information that we can? Things are quicker, faster.
Yeah.
Like if you go back 10 years, I mean,
Yeah.
Twitter was in its infancy, effectively at that point, and so we didn't have these immediate. I mean, it took a while for news to get out, and then with that being said, you could also kind of withhold some news depending on how you deal with it. In today's day and age, like shit can go viral off someone's like phone or whatever, and you're like, oh damn,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
you just can't control it as easily anymore.
Yeah.
So we
100%,
probably all these things that we see now, I'm sure they happened even more back then, but just it wasn't documented
Yeah.
as much. You don't
And
have
a lot
video
of it-
evidence and shit.
Well, dude,
A
there's
lot of
horror
it-
stories of players talking
Yeah.
about their concussions, and then their coaches just sending them back in.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
You didn't.
Oh,
You
you got
didn't
your
want.
bell
You
rope.
didn't. Yeah, like you didn't
Yeah.
want to. You didn't want to be seen
Yeah.
as like a pussy. Like,
Yeah.
you're.
Shake it
Oh,
off
your
and keep
head.
on going.
Yeah, your
Yeah,
head
man.
hurts. Poor
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I mean
Hey,
that's
I've done that. I'll own up to it. Back in the day, I did that.
I think there is
I
certain
once knocked my
instances we
cousin
could
out
still do
when
that though.
Backyard football. I once knocked my cousin out in backyard football. And me and me and my other brother were laughing at him, saying, "Get up, you crybaby!" And he shook off. And his brother said, "Come on, quit being a wuss. You're embarrassing me." And I mean, we just did. It wasn't.
Hey,
you
that
didn't
was
hear
just
it
how
back
it was.
then.
It
I
was
used to
how
do
it was
that
viewed.
shit.
Yeah, Pickle was
They said
giving
that
out
shit to me
CTE
too.
in his day.
Which I mean, I went to the
JJ
wreck.
might have some
and
CTE. Oh, shit.
and I'm not lying. Me and my wife and my son were in a wreck when he was little. I woke up and I remember. The only thing I remember going to McDonald's and getting food. I remember the bag ripping as I'm walking from the McDonald's to the parking lot for breakfast. And then we went home and we ate. We all got together to go to the store, and we left, and we were in a wreck. But everything from the whole morning was a dream. In my mind, it was a dream I had. Like you wake up in the morning and it's a dream. It's a dream. I don't remember none of the others.
Are you all saying you want to play backyard football next weekend?
Yeah, let's play. I'm down.
I wouldn't worry about concussions. I'd die of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Pickle, I've had a gross concussion before too. I got knocked out, and then when I came conscious, I was blind for probably 10 minutes.
Yep.
What?
And then when I came to, I was on the hospital operating table. I don't remember, probably 2 hours straight. In the car
that had to
shit.
be terrifying.
Yeah, I had a double headshot, Cody. My friend was chasing me around the pool table. He pushed me. I hit my head on the pool table. That knocked me out, and then I snapped my head back and hit it again on the floor.
Oh,
yeah, like I was
damn.
throwing up and shit, like unconscious.
Bro,
man. It was
dude,
crazy.
hey, straight up, that could have killed you, man.
I'm telling
Like,
you, these
could've-
concussions can.
Like, you could have legit died. Bro,
Yes.
that's why they say you should never get into a street fight with someone. Because
No.
one of the worst things that can happen is either you get punched and fall back and hit your head on the pavement and you fuck around and die, or you fuck around and punch someone else and then kill them, and then you catch a fucking crazy charge. Yeah, man. Violence is not the answer.
Shit's
But
wild.
hey, man, yeah, those head concussions there's something serious. But hey, look, there was another issue that I wanted to talk about, and then we'll move into the Saints game and we'll kind of give our predictions and shit like that.
Cody, is it the cam one?
Yeah, you read my
Okay,
mind.
okay, I'm ready. I'm
You
ready.
read where
for
we're
this.
going. We're talking about none other than Sean McDermott.
Let's see if I disagree with y'all on this one too.
All right, we're going to
I'm
talk
on a
about
roll.
Sean McDermott. So, if you didn't know, Sean McDermott has been in the news. The Bills head coach, whose job might very well be on the line at the end of the season. And the main reason why he's in trouble right now is because he compared team camaraderie and being on the same page to the terrorists that attacked the Twin Towers on 9/11. And obviously, he's drawing a ton of pushback for that. He apologized for that a long time ago, apparently. But this article is coming out and it's basically doing a tell-all on Josh McDermott and who he is as a head coach.
Yes.
And it would basically go on to say that McDermott basically feels that Cam Newton ruined the Panthers franchise. So I'm just going to read the article real quick. And by the way, I don't love the article. In my opinion, it is not a very well-written article, if I'm being blunt and being honest.
I agree with you.
Yeah. It says this is a head coach with a low quarterback IQ. Start with the player who helped him become a head coach, Cam Newton, when the former number 1 overall pick shape-shifted into molten lava, blah, 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 2015. McDermott was the Carolina Panthers defensive coordinator, one of many individuals to benefit from, all the stats. In 2016, the Panthers went 6-10. In 2017, McDermott was named the Bills' head coach. This did not stop McDermott from bashing Newton in staff meetings. One of the Bills' assistants spoke to this series and said McDermott's frame of reference as a coach was watching Newton, in his mind, ruin the Panthers. He used to come into offensive staff meetings and just motherfuck Cam Newton. Again, worded very terrible. Aside from the objective lunacy this created, awkwardness. Before becoming the Bills coordinator, coach, the Bills quarterback coach and offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey served as Newton's coach from 13 to 17. Dorsey was the coach most responsible for Newton's rise, and thus Dorsey understandably wondered if McDermott knew he was sitting in the same room.
Wow. Credit Ken Dorsey for making Cam Newton great. Whoopee.
Oh, wow.
And,
so, I mean, what do y'all feel about this? Like, why, why would Sean McDermott feel that about Cam Newton? I mean, and that's my question to anyone, to these Dominic, Strats, Cole, whoever, man. What the hell is up with McDermott, man?
It's weird that he goes into the meeting. I mean, I guess it's not weird. The only thing he addresses, McDermott went into a press conference after that article. I think it was after the article came out, or what was it, recent?
Yeah, I mean, this popped up recent, so I'm assuming it happened.
Yeah, it was just
a couple days ago.
So he only talked about the 9/11 thing, which already in and of itself is like, and I'm not even gonna. I don't even have to say much because, like, is it unnecessary bluntness or P&P? I think they covered this morning. P&P is what I think it was, and Rashad got it like on the money. It was like, what the are you? Why even? Who are you dumb enough to say? Like, how does your brain malfunction that bad?
Yeah. When do you think that's going to be a good example to use? You know what I mean?
And he coaches for a team that's in New York.
In the New York area.
New York.
Fuck, dude.
Dude, that's pretty wild.
The 9/11 comment was pretty stupid, but he turned around and apologized shortly there.
And that's why I'm not.
He should. And I'm gonna say this: there's a lot of folks out there, and I remember 9/11, folks. I was at work at a Walmart, and I was at work at a Walmart when it happened. The only thing I can think of was to get to my baby son and go home. That's all I wanted to. Okay. And a lot of people don't realize this. Back then, you didn't have the wave of the internet as you have now. Okay.
Right.
Let's be honest. You didn't have it. Okay. And y'all don't maybe understand. We had cable at the time. Every cable channel had the news on. You couldn't watch ESPN. It was ABC News. Every single channel. I'm talking every single channel had the news. Some news program. Even channels that didn't show news were showing news. Fact.
Right.
Okay.
That's how you knew that it was a big deal.
Exactly.
When they would interrupt whatever the hell you were watching.
I mean, but ESPN was canceled. ESPN, I tried to watch ESPN. ESPN, like maybe 5 minutes every hour, the guy would come on and say, just to let you know, all sports have been canceled while this horrific act has been done to our country.
Yeah.
And that's all he would say, and we go back to the news. Now, I said all that to say this. It was very bad. But after that, a lot of people still considered it a government hoax. So let's understand where this comes from. I think that was a stupid comment, but the whole article to me is clickbait. It's about a guy trying to make a name for himself, and that's exactly what it is. But what he said about Cam, I don't see that a lot of people my age at the time were saying the same thing. It wasn't a hate on Cam. It wasn't a hate on Cam. It's a saying that says the entire offense is Cam Newton. This is not good for a team. You've got to let your running backs run, your receivers catch. Your entire offense can't be built around a quarterback running the football. You just can't do it that way and win. And
yeah, but that's also not Cam Newton. But that's also not Cam Newton's fault. Like
yeah, you're right. But he never said it was.
If you have a player and you're a coach, and one, he's a defensive coach. And let's be real, McDermott, and that the article did mention this too. McDermott got hired off of the back of those really good teams in 2014 and 13 and 15. Those were the teams that basically got everyone hired, and we had a great defense. But I mean, also, if the team would have never have been successful due to Cam Newton's crazy ability in that 2015 season, he probably wouldn't have a job. Now, if you're going to say he ruined the franchise, you're going to have to give me a little more than that, and that's why I have a problem with the article. Literally, all they said is that a coach would come in and would motherfuck Cam Newton. One, I hate the way that's worded so bad. Like, what are you trying to say? Yeah, he would come in and every other thing would be motherfuck Cam Newton this, motherfuck Cam. Like, what are you even trying to say? What was his criticism of Cam Newton? Because they don't mention anything right there. So that's where I agree with Pickle. A lot of this is just like, ooh, I'm telling, you have some news and now you want to go and snitch to a publication. Especially when all the rumors are McDermott will be out the door and probably not the head coach by the end of the year if they don't make a playoff push this year or go to the Super Bowl, which is what they haven't been able to do since they've been there. It feels very much like them bringing up old shit to pile on to a coach that they already know probably isn't for much longer in that organization.
Yeah, I think I don't think any of this is based on reality. If it was, I don't think it was. I think if anything like that happened, I think the article is wrote to make people believe there's an issue and there's not. Okay, and I don't think Sean McDermott's many times have complimented Cam Newton. I don't think it's as bad as people are thinking, but the article wants you got to understand this is pure clickbait. This is like a political ad telling you how bad this other guy is. It's wrote for you to think the bad. That's how it's read. That's how it's wrote. It's wrote that way just so you can think the bad. If you go back far enough, and I made enough clicks. Stats, you probably got too smart to go back far enough to do this. But with respect, the guy hates in his entire profile, he hates Sean McDermott. He wants Sean McDermott out of there so they can hire an offensive coach to win the Super Bowl. And
that doesn't surprise me. The entire article read like
Bill fans said he's not even a Bills fan. He became a Bills fan a few years ago.
You can see it
definitely reads like an article of someone that has an axe to grind, or that someone that has a motive or an agenda that they're trying. And by the way, this is not even me like defending McDermott. Like, if he did genuinely feel like Cam Newton was the problem with the Panthers, like, bro, maybe come on.
I know, but come out and say something about it. Like, why not? Maybe he didn't want to attract more attention than need be, but like, I would hope that he would publicly state something, because Cam's already got like enough bullshit going on with. I mean, come on, we're playing the Saints next weekend, and Jameis Winston is starting for them, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're gonna talk about that.
Cam ain't playing in any team right now. He's got enough people that I think have put his name down for whatever reason. But I do believe, I agree with you, Pickle, that you can look at that one sentence where it says something like, it's the one where he says, in motherfuck Cam Newton or whatever like that. But you can see where the quotes are in that. And like, if you look at it, like no journalist would have published there's no way you could write it like that and be like, I got to go. Like, they don't get to publish it. They have to bring it to someone that's going to be like, yes, I approve. There's typically like how did that get fucking pushed through?
And at the very top it says Gmail on it, so somebody sent it by email.
Exactly.
I could send D's an email, a fake email with something about that. He could put it online, and all of a sudden everybody says it's real. To me, and I'm not defending McDermott, and I'm not defending Cam. I'm saying that's what it looks like. And for those of you in the chat, like Justin Long, who are adamantly trying to pick a side here, you know, this is the Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, which one of is evil. This is disgusting. That's exactly what it is, folks.
Hey,
this is exactly what it is. This
hey,
is
so
the
let me hang on.
I mean, it's not a good conversation to go down.
Well, hold on. Let me bring somebody in. TJ's been waiting patiently. TJ, welcome back to the free for all, man. Happy you could join us.
Oh shit, is it TJ
Yeah,
Watt?
what's up, Cody?
Oh.
Yeah, TJ Watt.
I'm just kidding, man.
Yeah, what's up, man? Do you have anything you wanted to add to the Sean McDermott conversation, or just anything in general, man? If you've been listening and you want to speak on something, go ahead, and then we'll move into a Saints discussion.
No, that's okay, man. I figured y'all didn't want to interrupt with my personal shit, but I was just in the comments whenever the show started about Greg was running his mouth about it. If you got shit to say, just call in and show your face. It's just like a lot of people. If they have problems with people in the comments, they say, oh, people just comment on the internet. They don't want to fucking show up and say what they got to say in person. Well, I'm here, but, you know, he's gone. So,
well, but to be fair, you are like kind of late. Greg jumped off. But, hey, say what you need to say.
No, I know, but he said, oh, come on. Well, I had to be on here right then and there when it was convenient for him, so. I mean, I'm not saying he should be on
what would you? How about this? What would you like to say? What would you? Because I believe you had an issue with something that me and Greg were saying about Bryce. So what was?
Well, oh no, it started with CK Tuesday. Let's see, I could go on about this, but I don't want to take up your whole show. It started with well, he mentioned about how they always put up the graphic like I super chatted a few weeks ago about how Bryce Young, all these Hall of Fame quarterbacks started out shitty like Bryce, and then CK wanted to say, he came on and was saying that Peyton Manning, he was saying that Peyton Manning, if Bryce doesn't have a Peyton Manning like career, then it was the biggest, the worst draft trade ever of all time. Right? But then you're going to go on and say that he's not a bust. So all I did was say, so you're comparing Bryce Young, so you're saying he's like a Peyton Manning now? And then everybody on the panel attacked me, you and Greg. And we're trying to say that I'm putting words in people's mouth and I'm the problem with the fandom. And
no, I don't remember who said like that. Nobody was. But look, nobody was trying to attack you personally. I can say that for sure. What I can say is that a lot of times we'll find a comment in the chat that will represent an idea or a notion that people will bring up to us, and then we'll kind of use that as like a jump off point for the discussion. Again, I can't speak for CK. What I think he was meaning to say is that if with Bryce having this kind of season and what we traded to give up for him, that if he doesn't continue to bounce back in a big way, like even if he has a career like Alex Smith, to me, the trade still wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? Like, CK was basically saying he needs to really live up to that number one draft pick if it was going to be worth it. And to that, I agree with him. But no, we weren't trying to come down on you, man. Apologies if it felt that way.
No, it's fine. It's not. Like I said, it's not personal. I'm leaving a message in the chat. But I'm just saying, I said, are you comparing him to? So you're comparing him to Peyton Manning, because when you say if he doesn't have a Peyton Manning like career, then he'll be considered a bust. But then you say he's not a bust.
But
so when you put that too, and then I said, so are you comparing him to Peyton Manning?
Well,
and then he said, this is what it was kind of like. He's like, well, this is the problem, is fans putting things in people's mouths as they come out, and then all of a sudden, that's the reason why you're considered a Bryce Young hater. Or Greg was saying that's why people are backed into a corner and they feel like they can't be a part of the conversation.
I think it's hard.
So it's kind of like you were you were actually doing that while trying to make a point against what I said. Because all I did was ask the question, is this what you're saying? So if that's not what you meant, all you had to do is say, no, I was actually saying this, like you just explained to me.
Right, but
that makes a lot of sense.
I don't know if anyone understood that at the time. That you were just
right.
Again, when you're talking about comparisons, dude, that's like people give Greg shit that he compared Bryce to Jamarcus Russell, and people would never let him hear the end of it. So again, I can't speak for CK and how he took it. Maybe he thought that you were like a lot of times he might think that you might read a chat and think someone's coming at one of us, and then you might get defensive. Let me ask you this to move the subject along.
Right. I think that's what happened. But
yeah. What did you think about Bryce Young? Like, do you think that he can be a good quarterback still?
I think with a great team around him, he could be average, man. And I think that's kind of the.
Who was your take going into the draft out of all of them, or were you more of a hold off till next year?
I wanted CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
But I'm not like I said, I've been very reasonable on giving Bryce Young a chance. And that was kind of the thing, is that because I made that comment, it was kind of like, well, these people who want to be Bryce Young haters, they want to come say this and that. It's not like that. I'm actually very reasonable. And I'm just begging the question to try to further the conversation as to, are you saying this? Are you saying that? But then it was like trying to portray me as toxic. I'm just coming on to say what it is.
Yeah, I hear you. But also, if you've heard me on here before, people think I'm a Bryce Young hater. I swear to God, I'm not.
You are a Bryce Young hater.
Right. I've been on here.
There they go.
And I've defended everybody on. I'll defend anybody's opinion on the panel, period.
Right.
It doesn't anywhere.
Right, but this is what I'm saying, though. Like, whenever, so like, for example, all of us, I mean, not all of us, but many of us, especially on the Tuesday show, there's like me and Greg, we haven't been very kind to Bryce. And there's this kind of me against the world thing that happens if you're on Team Bryce and you perceive everyone as being unfair, you're going to defend him even more. Whereas if you feel like people are unjustly defending Bryce, you're going to go even harder at him. So,
exactly. And that's kind of what I wanted to highlight, is because while trying to make that point, they were doing the same exact thing to me. Because I actually didn't expect you and Greg to jump in and say that I'm the reason people are calling you a Bryce Young hater, and Greg is saying this is why people can't have a conversation because of people like this. Everybody said
I didn't say that about you, though.
Can I add something to the Bryce debate?
If you want to say that someone else said that I never said that about you. I don't pile on to anyone in the chat. Like, again, like I said, I'm one of the people that's known as like a Bryce Young hater. So if anything, I would have been on your side in that scenario. But Strats, go ahead, jump in on this, bro.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Cody. Here's the thing with quarterback value. I mean, we've been talking about it for a while, that you need to see. You can't. It's hard to really fully evaluate, especially when everything is in disarray. But what I would say is this. I would say I think Bryce. Obviously, we need to have a better. I had this all planned out in my head. Now it's all going to mush. We need to see. We need to see consistency for a longer duration of time, and turmoil is not going to. That's not consistency. So until we see that, however, with that being said, there are still things that you can evaluate with him, where the plays that he does have time in the pocket and does not make the right decision. Like literally an example of that is last week when he panicked and just threw the ball backwards. Yeah. Then there's other opposites to this where you see him make substantial plays that are like, wow, that we literally, the drive is looking great. Yeah. So, I mean, we do need to see some more consistency across the board, just like not consistency from him, but consistency in his surroundings and everyone's surroundings for that matter, in order to be able to completely evaluate everything the way it needs to be. But I had a really solid point, but it'll come back to me. I'm not worried about it.
All right. No, that's fine. I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of move towards this Sunday. Believe it or not, we have a football game. And I just kind of want to gauge the room. How's everybody feeling right now, man? Like, do we think that this is a winnable matchup? The Saints, they're going through this back and forth with Derek Carr and Jameis Winston. So, by the way, Anthony wanted me to bring this up during the show. This is from NFL notifications. It's just a rumor, so take it for what it's worth. An insider told us that the Saints are avoiding starting Jameis Winston as much as they can. There remains a fear that he will look better than Derek Carr, the man the Saints just paid $100 million in guaranteed money. They preferred to avoid any quarterback controversy. Now, Derek Carr is all kinds of beat up right now. Like, the dude is not healthy, yet he's out there participating in practice. So a lot of people are saying Derek Carr, he isn't going to play this Sunday. What do y'all feel about this? What quarterback would you rather be playing, Jameis Winston or Derek Carr? And do you think the Panthers actually have a shot to win this?
I'm happy to take off, but you can go first.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, go. Why?
I personally believe that we could win. Okay, I do believe we could win, but I don't really care which quarterback we take, to be honest. If I had to make a choice, I would rather take on Carr because he's hurt. But I don't think we will win. I don't think we'll win, but I think we could win because it's the way it's been all year. There are winnable games on the schedule. There have been winnable games all year, and for whatever reason I'm not going to go into for the sake of argument. We just won't. Whether it's offensive line failure, whether it's quarterback failure, whether it's coach failure, whether it's a defensive failure, I just feel that way.
See, I disagree. I think we do win this week, and for the same reasons you highlighted, but in the opposite perspective. Yeah, I mean, we were on the same page. Listen, we're all, isn't it amazing that we can still come together and talk about something to do with the Panthers and not make it entirely solely negative? And like this it's good fun. It's good stuff. Good like it is. Right. I mean, yeah. So here's what I think is going to happen. I think we do win. I think we hedge it out slightly, and I think it's going to be based off of the compromised parts of their quarterback position and the limitedness of them as well. But also, I think, was it the Lions that played them last weekend and they ran the ball?
Oh yeah,
a lot. Here's the thing: we played the Saints week 2, right? Is that right?
Yes.
I believe because I was there. That was Monday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I believe you maybe just get ready to say this. I believe we could have won that game, but we didn't because of the turnovers, right?
Correct.
Yeah, Bryce had fumbled the ball on one drive.
Yeah.
It was close.
Okay.
So what I believe is there are some things Bryce has improved on, and I think I think it's too much. I think he's like not over improved, but I think it's detrimental to some degree. Okay, I'll just cut to the point. What I think is going to happen is he's not going to turn the ball over as much. He might turn it over once, but he's not going to turn it over like several times. I think he turned it over several times. But I think we also run the ball more. And I think everyone is starting to align. I said this point during the week. You have a ship and you're steering it, and you have 5 different people that are trying to, like, every now and again maneuvering it to change the direction. It doesn't go toward down the course where you really want it to go. You have one captain that's going to dictate, orders out to everyone else, which I believe is what Tabor's doing. I believe you have more. You get where you want to. You at least start moving in the direction you want to, and I think this is a compounding week. They've had time to build off of last week, and what I see is we come in here and we hedge this out. We win by running the ball more when we need to at the right times. Thomas Brown learning that you don't run it on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. I think we have picked up all these lessons throughout the entire season, and it'd be hard for me to look at this game, seeing the Saints in the shape that they are, and saying it's not somewhat close. If not, we don't just edge it out. That's my.
I agree with Strats. I agree with everything that you just said. So, by the way, 3 hours ago, Derek Carr cleared concussion protocol, so he is starting the Sunday. And just for reference, he's coming off of concussion protocol. He has a rib injury, and he has a right shoulder injury. That's his throwing shoulder. So, considering that this defense has kept us in games and that the offense is having more success running the football, I agree with you, man. Like, just like these past couple of weeks, I feel like we've been in some very winnable football games. And I also feel like this is a winnable football game. Now, we also lost all those other winnable football games, but on paper, like, I'm not looking at this matchup as like, oh Lord, here we go. The Saints are going to kick our ass. Like, I just don't. I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way.
It's because they don't have any scary players anymore, Cody. I'm not even scared of Kamara anymore.
Right. What the only thing that worries me,
maybe Olave, but we're going to have J.C. Horn back too. So
the one thing that worries me is how they use Taysom Hill. And it shouldn't, because when he's out there, you know what he's going to do.
Right, and that no one can stop him.
You know it's going to work against us.
I mean,
everyone knows what they're going to do with him.
And you
can't. He'll still pick up 8 yards per carry.
Yes, that's what worries me. And they have been using him a lot lately. I don't know why they just not their stuff.
They might even put him at quarterback a few times too.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's a winnable matchup. So let's do this, man. Since we're at the final portion, let's do our player of the game, and your final score. Strats, I know you think the Panthers are going to win. Give me a final score and a player of the game.
17-14. I'm just pulling it out of my
17-14. Eddie Pinheiro field goal.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that might save the day at the end.
Yeah.
I feel like they'll stall out like when it matters the most, and they'll be just in range enough to kick a field, something like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's
I guess. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Player of the game, I guess. I don't want to hand it to Pinheiro, but it might be something like that. If he kicks the last field goal that like wins.
Yeah.
Strats, what was your score one more time?
I think 14. Did I say 14-17?
Yeah, you
I
said
just pulled that
17-14.
one out. I normally sit there and I'll like actually try to calculate it out, but I got lazy and just kind of guessed on something. So
no, dude, that's a good guess. I mean, that seems like the type of score that we're going to be looking at in this type of game. Let me go to my man Cole. Cole, give me your final score prediction. Who wins and your player of the game?
A field goal fest. 16-13 Panthers. Chuba's player of the game.
Chuba. Does he break 100 rushing yards again?
Nobody gets close.
Oh, all right. I like that. TJ, you still with me? TJ.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I'm on my.
No, all right, go ahead, man. Let me have your final score. Who will win this matchup and a player of the game?
Man, I just now thought of it, and he stole my score. Just here thinking about it now, I'm gonna say same thing. The Saints 13 and the Panthers 16. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think they might be able to pull this one out. And the player of the game, let me go ahead and say Xavier Woods. I think he might have a couple picks.
Oh, Xavier Woods. All right, yeah. He's had a couple of near misses too. Or he's had some near interceptions that could have been made.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
He's a bright spot.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate you. Let me go next to. I was about to go to Dominique, but Dominique dropped out. All right, Pickle, you're the last one left. I would play that video, but anything NBC.
I
that we
didn't
ever
think you
played.
could. I'll just tell folks briefly. Y'all want to check out somebody, Matthew Berry. He does fantasy football, generally for NBC. He's been on a few other places. Just a ball-headed fantasy football guy. A lot of people think, well, I don't play fantasy. Y'all need to check him out. He goes through this 5-minute rant about don't compare. I guess he's a Washington fan. I guess he has been. And he goes, don't compare David Tepper to Daniel Snyder. Fact is, the title of the video, if you get it on YouTube, I posted it on my Twitter account. Cody, you can share this if you like. And it's Barry, stop comparing David Tepper to Daniel Snyder. He goes on a 5 to 6 minute rant. I call it he's going through a pickle moment, because that's what I do sometimes. I just go on this live rant and I go crazy.
He does.
It's just funny.
Most of it is cohesive, though, so it makes.
And listen, he makes some great points too. Hey, Pickle posted it in the chat, in the comments, so people can check it out. I mean, no, listen to everybody that is comparing David Tepper to Dan Snyder. It really is illuminating as to how much shit Dan Snyder actually did and has done as an owner. It's absurd, man.
Yeah, because this is a guy who always talks fantasy football. I've listened to him before on fantasy football advice, but he always talks fantasy football. He ever goes into anything personal or like a fan side. And he went there today, and I thought it was on that one little video, and I thought it was so cool. I listened to him for a while, and I was going, damn, he going on one of them pickle rants.
Yeah, I saw you put that on Twitter. Yeah. All right, man. Well, look, back in the nick of time, we always close the show out with this man because he brings the energy, he brings the fire.
By the way, I think I'm sorry. I think.
No, you're right. You didn't. Yeah, you messed me up. You didn't even give me the damn score.
I think we'll lose 10-14. I think the player of the game was going to be, as much as I hate it, Taysom Hill. Yuck.
Oh, I'm not mad.
I sure hope I'm wrong.
But we all seem to agree that it's going to be a low scoring defensive football game. So I kind of think that we're all expecting that. All right, appreciate you, Pickle. And then now, last but not least, the brand ambassador, D's Ill Skills. Don, give me your player of the game. Who's going to win and your final score, man?
Let's go player of the game, Dennis Allen, the coach for the Saints. We'll give him that. And let's go score prediction, Saints 24, Panthers 10. Like I was saying earlier, Cody, like this is only our second game of the season where we've eclipsed 100 yards rushing. And the first time ever that we've had a 100-yard rusher itself. Chuba Hubbard was much more productive last season, and there's a couple reasons why he hasn't been successful this year. And the first reason is arrogance. Arrogance by Scott Fitterer to believe that the team that he had put together with Matt Rule the draft picks that you guys want to give him a pass for. He was arrogant enough to believe that those draft picks were able to carry this team, and that Steve Wilkes wasn't responsible for what was done last season, that 6-6 record to finish the season. Scott Fitterer is arrogance. And the second mistake that the Panthers made was vanity. Vanity by David Tepper, the man who turned his former boss's house into a parking lot. The vanity of David Tepper to change traditions within the Carolina Panthers organization that have shown to be successful in the past. But yet we break away from those and go to a turf field when all natural grass and the Panthers were successful. We've seen an uptick in injuries ever since. We scream about it online. Even the players complain. But yet the vanity refuses to pay attention to the Carolina Panthers. All I know, guys, is I appreciate you for joining the C3 Panthers podcast. This has been the Friday Night Free-for-All. We're here every Friday night at 7 p.m. We want to hear your Panthers opinion. This is a podcast that's for the fans and by the fans, and this is the best opportunity to join C3. We appreciate you and everyone on the panel. Keep pounding, C3.
Keep pounding. Appreciate you, D's. We appreciate everybody that comes on the show. This has been another edition of the C3 Friday Free-for-All. I'm your host, Cody Lashney. We'll be back with you next Sunday for the post-game show following the Panthers and the Saints. Everybody have a wonderful weekend. Until next time.
Check out Spaces on Twitter. We're on almost every single day just because we want to.
That's right. Follow the
Hit
boys
the like
on Twitter.
button.
Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe. Hit the notification
Hit the
bell.
like button too.
Join for $1.99 a month. We appreciate y'all.
Punch your computer screen.
We appreciate y'all.
Maybe not do that.